What's up? Hey, there's one person here because I forgot to make this public, but now it's public. So here we go.
They'll get here eventually.
Are we live now? All right.
We are live now. No gamer words. Okay.
No. Well, like Lesbo?
Like Lesbo. Hot scissoring.
Gaynera.
Somebody suggested we call this Chasing the Dragon. Maybe that's what I'll call it on Spotify or something.
Wait, this episode? Oh,
no.
This like podcast?
Yeah.
Chasing the Dragon. That would be good considering your history.
My past, yes.
Yeah.
Thank you, by the way.
That's the joke.
Yeah, I'd like that, yeah.
What's up? We just finished. I don't know what the name of the episode is.
The name of the episode was Small Folk.
Okay.
Which I think is an appropriate one.
Yeah.
And I like it because it's something we've been talking about for, I would say, almost an entire season at this point, between these and some of the things that ended in the last season, and talking about how kind of important that was going to be. So I like the fact that they just straight up said Small Folk is the name of the episode. They should have called it Helena has another fucking autistic panic attack.
Yeah.
Yeah. We need more Helena, but they also just need to keep her in the Red Keep. Stop taking her out.
Yeah, every time she goes outside, it goes bad.
She's an inside person, all right? And she's so sweet and nice. Don't take her out and do anything to her.
Unless she's going to babble some prophecy or something like that, kind of let us know what's going on. But
she just knows everything. Helena's like, yeah, Aemond, I know you fucking, like, I know you killed Aegon. Was it worth it? Or tried to kill Aegon. Was it worth it?
So we'll go around the horn here, then we'll give our quick thoughts and start breaking down the episode. Welcome, chat, as people come in. What's up, Ryan?
Hello. Yeah, I am on location, remote, with not great internet. So if I go in and out a little bit, if I go in and out a little bit,
no pulling out.
I'm sorry.
No teasing.
Yeah.
No pulling out. Well, it depends.
Yeah.
If you're on your period, I'll just let it fly. If not, maybe I'll pull out. I'll consider
fire and blood, baby.
Fire and blood. Hot cum and blood. Maybe that's what we'll name this podcast.
There you go.
Hot cum and blood. I kind of like that, actually. But yeah, overall, like, quick thoughts on the episode. I like the episode, with the exception of one thing that I don't think they set it up at all, which I'm sure we'll get into.
Yep. Shad,
how are you, mate? Yeah, I really enjoyed it. This seemed like this was the episode of revelations regarding characters' motivations and stuff. And honestly, some things were revealed that I wasn't expecting them to be so open about in terms of character motivations and whose side. Particularly the Clubfoot guy. I always forget his name.
Larys.
Yeah, that was some real interesting stuff that he was kind of revealing here. And so overall, really liked it. Don't think I liked it as much as last episode. I do have questions about, I guess, the last scene or close to last scene. But overall, show's still chugging along great.
All right. Mahler.
Hello. They are very cruelly separating me from my favorite character for yet another episode. I'm starting to get
Otto Hightower.
A little bit concerned now, because the dialogue went from he's gone to do things, which is cool with me, to where is he and why hasn't he contacted anyone? Now I'm getting a little bit like, wait, he's not, is Otto okay? Is he safe? Is he all right? That's my concern for this one.
I wish that me and Gary had something we could tell you, but we actually don't.
I have an idea, but I can't tell him.
Well, I have an idea. Like I have a guess, but it's not one of these things where we can be like, oh, I don't know, Mahler. We don't know when he's going to show up. Like, it's literally, I'm not sure.
There was funnily enough, when we were engaging and watching, Gary, there was a absolute fuck yeah moment in the episode, but I was muted because I was moving something, so I didn't realize I was muted. But we'll go over it at the moment. But it is an auto-related payoff in this episode, so I at least got that. But yes, plenty of things to like, plenty of scenes that were awesome, and of course, I mean, we can. This is going to spoil the whole thing. somebody comes back. The actual favorite character of all of House of the Dragon. He makes
Yes.
an appearance finally.
Which we've been waiting for. Like, as soon as I feel like as soon as we saw Millie Alcock in, was that the second episode or whatever it was in that flashback, we were like, Viserys has to come back. Like, he has to, you know. It was cool. There's plenty for us to talk about with those as well. But yes, pretty happy with it. We've developed a shit ton of stuff. I'm just very not happy with almost what was a last seed. That felt dumb as fuck. And we'll talk about it, I suppose. But yeah, 7 and 8. Looking forward to it. It's funny because I feel like last episode I was wishing that we would have gotten more. That we would have had an episode like basically 5.5 between the massive time jump. They would have had an extra episode in season 1 where you could see Rhaenyra potentially licking pussy like with Lena. So it's just this is not the character that I think anybody expected or thought should have had a romantic relationship with Rhaenyra, which is kind of the problem.
Yeah, I had a problem with one thing in this episode. I overall thought it was good. They're setting up some other stuff, which I guess we're going to potentially see this season.
Yeah, so, what the fuck? Like that's what I'm saying too. Like that's what I'm saying too. I did not expect what may happen to happen
this season.
Like this season. Like
I didn't respect you.
We're doing the thinking faces right now. What are talking about?
You guys like we won't spoil it, but you guys like. I mean, just another fucking battle, you know what I mean? But
it's another battle.
Yeah, but there's really no hints as to what might happen.
They're going at breakneck speed now at this point,
yeah.
and it's going to be.
I feel like because of the time frame they gave us, we may be getting the fabled, and I'm saying this from the perspective of the show, okay? So you don't need to say like, oh, that actually does happen or anything, but they have set up for a while Aemond versus Daemon. And I feel like that might be our season finale. I said that when they said it was like what, like a 2 weeks ride to Harrenhal. So 2 weeks sounds like 2 episodes to me, sort of.
Yeah. Okay. They're gonna have to time jump at some point. They're just or they're changing things drastically, and that not this season, but next season.
You think so?
Yeah, possibly.
I mean,
not a massive time jump, but like because it's only just a little one.
The whole thing is like a year, though. You know what I mean? The whole Dance of the Dragons. So I don't think they need a massive one.
Yeah,
at all
into it,
or even that little.
Well, you stretch for time. We should probably get going.
We probably get going. We probably move on from this because I can't even say what I want to say right now. But
it's the N word, isn't it?
That's it. Nerdrotic. Subscribe. We start out the Golden Tooth with the Lannisters.
Bro, I was like, I've been waiting to see the Lannister army mostly because I wanted to see more of Jason Lannister. Because I feel like even though we didn't get a ton of him in the first season, I really liked the little bit of a difference between Jason and Tylan Lannister. And Jason Lannister is just such like this fucking goof. You know what I mean? And I was wishing we got to see a little bit more of him, but we did finally see the army and a fucking lion, which is cool.
I assume it's the same actor, right? I never actually checked if they were twins or anything.
It is. It's one single actor. It's not like the
That's fun because he definitely holds both characters differently, which is it's good shit.
Which is really different from a show we just watched.
I don't know. That'll be the last time that gets a connection. Okay, it's dead now.
Ay. So yeah, he's just there and he demands basically he wants a raven sent. What was this house again, Ryan? What house was he at?
I don't remember. I didn't catch it in the beginning.
I forgot.
Do we see their emblems at all?
Oh, they mention it. They say chat will help me.
I don't see their emblems.
He demands that the Lord send a raven to Aemond to bring his dragon. And that's when they will assault Harrenhal. They will make it to Harrenhal once he's got some backup from Aemond's dragon.
It's just like a golden
House Lefford. House Lefford.
Yeah,
Thank you, chat.
But yeah, basically they're like, hey, we don't feel so keenly about assaulting Harrenhal while there's a fucking dragon there. And this is like kind of a like, is this really an unexpected request?
It's
I don't
really
think it would
reasonable.
be.
Really reasonable.
Very reasonable.
Now it's presented in a fucking bastard way.
Yeah.
You know, like demanding that the fucking Prince Regent, like demanding that he meet you here before you follow orders. But in terms of the request itself, it makes a lot of sense.
Yep. Which pisses off Aemond, naturally. Right there. He dares to summon me.
Yeah, we get more of his rage in this particular small council.
I love Aemond, man. I really fucking like him. And like he was a cool character in the book, but they're definitely expanding upon everything with him in this show. And he is somebody, again, he wants to be Daemon in a way, but he's paid like more attention to things, like both politically and kind of just being able to manipulate these people to get what he wants, and as well as being the fucking wild card that Daemon is in a way.
I love this scene. I'm starting to really like the council scenes.
The council scenes are some of the best.
They were some of the best in Game of Thrones. The council scenes are always really good.
So much is kind of revealed, but also set up, hinted at. The logistics that they're talking about have weight. And so while they're actually like, even what might seem like a throwaway line has, you know, foreshadowing about, you know, what might happen later on. And so I'm just paying attention, hanging off everything. And then you have the subtle character interactions, the way that he basically talks over Alicent and dismisses what she says so, you know, definitively. All of it is just brilliant. Yeah, I love these scenes.
No, they set up a lot. The dynamic, which is Aemon's not going to listen to fucking anybody on the council, especially his mom.
No.
And
there is someone he would listen to, though.
There is
his grandpa.
His grandpa.
Oh, such a satisfying payoff. Seriously, we'll get to it in a sec, though. I was just gonna say it's funny to watch Jason Lannister deal with the bravado of his brother when he's not his brother. Like, you're like, what the fuck is this? And he's like, I don't know.
So this is Tywin Lannister, who is the younger twin. Jason Lannister is the Lord of Castle Rock, who is the one we saw marching. So this is Tywin, his younger brother.
Oh, I can guess Jason's gonna die. That's my prediction then. And Tywin's gonna go to inherit the Lannister line, I think.
That's
interesting prediction. Mixing them up?
That's my prediction. Am I mixing them up? Tywin's the one sitting in the council, right?
Yes, this is Tywin.
This
is Tywin.
Yeah. So I reckon, he's gonna become the head of the Lannister.
I can see that happening.
Yeah.
Okay.
So Alicent is they approach the subject of marriage and marrying her off to the Red Kraken, to Dalton Greyjoy. So they've mentioned the Greyjoys in this meeting, and she's like,
the reason that they're mentioned is because they have the problem with the blockade, which is super important and will be super important when it plays out. Because right now there's a big problem with the people fucking hating them. The small folk of King's Landing despise the current rulers because it doesn't really matter who killed the dragon. It doesn't really matter what happened. Like, there's only one thing that matters, and we're kind of seeing this in everyday life right now. Hey, nobody can get food. Everything's really fucking expensive. No one's able to eat. And it doesn't really matter all these other things. If they can't eat, they're going to be really mad about the people that are in charge. They don't care that Rhaenyra ordered a blockade. They're mad at the people that are in power.
Yep.
Yeah, that part's interesting, and I'll have some thoughts to share when we get to the ships that they send. But I do love that this is like a really valid logistical thing that would come up in war like this. Feeding a city, it's no small thing. There's a lot of people that right there, and it just adds that immersive kind of realism that I love in this series.
And what Aemond wants to do is send a raven to the Triarchy, who obviously came up last season. He wants the Triarchy's help. So these people that have been enemies of the crown for decades and decades, the free cities, he wants to use them to crush the blockade, since they really can't get the Greyjoys to help without potentially doing something like that. He's like, hey, we've got these people in the Stepstones who are basically a stone's throw away. It wouldn't take them long to get here. Let's just have them. And a lot of people are like, wow, slow your roll there.
Yeah, that's a chaotic decision because the enemies of the crown being, enemies of you as well. It's like they've been, the Stepstone shit was drama for all kinds of portions of season 1. Yeah, like what happens when they win or if they win.
So, question: is Aemond's dragon the only one they have at the moment?
They have Helena's dragon is there,
but Helena doesn't ride really. Yeah. Like she does, but she has not ridden in a long time and doesn't seem keen to.
Because with Rhaenys's dragon gone, my question is, why wouldn't they send a dragon to take out the blockade? Because I thought Rhaenys was the one who was protecting the blockade, doing her patrols. But now that she's out of the picture, that would be best move for them right now if the blockade is causing such issues.
The only issue would then be you leave King's Landing undefended, which, before, even if you did send Vhagar out somewhere, you did still have Aegon around there. To potentially hop on his dragon and help protect the city. You don't have that anymore. So if you do go, and it's not that far, obviously, but if you do go, you are, this is the situation. When your nuclear bomb is also your Iron Dome. Like that is the situation they're at, which has got to be a little bit frustrating. But, he's willing to take Vhagar potentially out to Harrenhal at this point in time.
Yeah, so that's something I think would have just helped a little bit if they addressed that. And that's why I asked if they had any other dragons around. And so the only kind of question I really have from the scene.
Not locally, again, but we'll get to another dragon rider and dragon who you haven't seen yet in a little bit.
I love that little bit, actually, though.
Yep.
About Daeron the Daring. I don't know if I don't think we're gonna see him anytime soon, but I'll be excited when we do, because his dragon's fucking cool too. Tessarion.
Yeah. So we have Criston Cole is being sent away.
He seems pretty terrified of Aemond at this point.
Yep.
Doesn't know what he's gonna do next, sort of thing.
Criston is like just terrified and guilty and scared and anxious of everything. Like Criston Cole's a fucking ticking time bomb. And who knows what's going to happen with him.
I noticed he backed up one of Alicent's suggestions in the council as well. Yes. And so I think like what I like about Cole, he isn't really trying to play sides as much as just give what he thinks is the best counsel. Like when he answered Alicent in the previous episode where he's like, I'm trying to save you from, the crap that you'd have to deal with if you were queen and stuff. And it wasn't because he had anything issue against Alicent, and kind of shown in the scenes, like when she says something he agrees with, he'll just go, yeah, do that.
The reason? It's because he's not a fucking politician. He's completely unprepared for this role.
Yes.
Like he's literally just a fucking fighter and then became a Kingsguard. He has no business having this role, yet he was given to it by another person that had no business having that role, and that was Aegon.
Yeah, and as soon as he got in the way, as in Alicent's got a good idea there, it felt like Aemond was like, all right, you're out.
You're gone. And
he's also a witness to the crime.
True.
So. Yeah. He saw what went down. And everybody is dismissed. So he's on his way up to the Riverlands. Criston Cole is on his way up to the Riverlands. And Aemond wants to have a talk with his mom. And he fires her. He fires his mom from the council.
Pretty strict about it, too. She tries to get a wriggle out of it. But he basically says, I'm firing you because I don't like you. You're a piece of shit. You're a bad mother. Which...
Yeah, he's like, what's your fucking role here, by the way? Like, are you,
let's be honest. Yeah. Would that even fucking matter if he really liked her? He probably, and he thought she had interesting things to like say, probably just keep it. That to me was a smokescreen. The text quickly became subtext when it was like, has your childhood not been avenged? I think.
Yeah, that line I found very interesting because it shows that she knows what's going on in his head, and he would not like that. Like,
No, and I think that's just a confirmation between the two of them that she did not do a good job as his mum.
yeah.
And she thinks that too.
Yep.
I did.
Oh
like
yeah,
how
she's got
you-
guilt in this episode for that.
Even in the recap, we get that. We get the line that she's like, when she's talking about all the kids, she's like, and Aemond has somehow become a monster. It's like, what the fuck do you mean somehow?
Yeah.
Like you didn't see this happening and like kind of enable it in a few ways the
think-
entire time.
As much as you're correct, this episode she does seem to have realized that somehow was bullshit. She knows.
Yeah, this is a good line she delivers where it's something to the effect of, have you not got enough revenge for the injustices that were done to you as a child yet? Like, do you still need more? And the answer is, I'm not fucking done, bitch. I'll tell you when I'm done.
Yeah.
I mean, he still has.
I'm just getting started.
Yeah, he wants Aegon out of the way. It's just like teetering on that. Should I kill him? Can I get away with it? Kind of question.
And she's pretty much lost everything now, power wise.
Yep. And she's gone. Now we're at Corlys. Corlys, the hand of the queen, taking a spot, and we have another council meeting. Our table's cooler, by the way. Just is. And this is where, God, I'm blanking on his name now. Kingsguard.
Stefan Darklyn.
Stefan Darklyn. Yes. Is kind of he's his ultimate, Your Grace, and she kind of expositions everything that's wrong right now a little bit, and they are working their way towards the dragon seeds, and she has a solution. She searched the bloodlines, and his great-grandmother, his grandmother's grandmother was a Targaryen.
But as they've been clear with in this show, it ain't just about having the right blood.
New.
Yeah, and even Rhaena, like Rhaena has all the right blood, and they bring that up. Even she's tried to claim multiple dragons, and she just can't get it right. So just because you do have the blood doesn't necessarily mean you can do it, especially if you have very little blood.
As soon as they showed how scared he was in front of the dragon, I was like, all right, he's getting just toasted.
Before that, right, this is definitely a personal preference. I was hoping she would order him to do it. As in, I feel like the responsibility would be better balanced if, especially for her reaction, if he had said, I don't think that's a good idea. And then she said, I'm not giving you a choice. And because
good.
That's
because
not
you get what I'm gunning
though.
for, right? Like, I would want him to be like, of course, any order you give, I would pursue it, and that would better back that she would be like, fuck, what have I done? I just killed him. Like, but she's desperate, right? She makes it clear we've lost Meleys, which is a huge deal. Like, and Caraxes might not even be on her team at this point.
I would say a Kingsguard, even with the suggestion, would automatically do it.
That's what I was
That's their
thinking.
role, yeah.
Because I get what you're saying there.
Again,
Yeah.
he wouldn't refuse. He would simply say, I think that's a bad idea. Then she's like, it's an order.
Yeah. Because I see it twofold. I see that he has that huge loyalty that he'll do whatever, the queen suggests. But also, it's his chance to get some of the biggest power ever. Like that's like, if this works out, he's suddenly a major player with huge influence.
And not even just the power and influence factor. It is, he even talks about it. He's like, the dragons are like fucking gods. And then like, nobody who is not have the last name Targaryen would, or Velaryon, depending on who you married, would fucking dream. Like, no one would ever fucking think about this. Like in your wildest dreams that this would happen.
I've been maybe a little disappointed with how feeble she's been this season, and I would have thought this would be a neat first step, being it was a mistake. Like, she's like, I'm going to finally start exerting my power a bit more aggressively, and then this happens, and it would be a good lead into probably what's going to happen. Like, the end of the episode, she aggressively leaves with Cyrax, right?
Like by pimp slapping motherfuckers.
I mean, we can talk about that as well. I'm just saying that,
I know what you mean. Yeah.
I enjoyed the end of the last episode being like, oh shit, this could be a great idea. And then their first attempt fails and they lose someone who's arguably very important. He's not just some random.
No, they lose. Well, we'll get to it. They lose a Kingsguard.
The funny thing is, I didn't even like like this entire time we've been waiting for the Dragonseeds, I totally forgot about Stefan Darkland and like what happened to him.
Yep.
Like it totally like passed to mind, even with all the scenes we've seen him in. I didn't even remember that from the book, even though I've recently read it. Probably because it's just like
well, it goes by in like a sentence. Yeah.
Yes, it's like, hey, it didn't work out so well.
Didn't work out so well for him.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. So we'll get to that in just a second. Then we're back to Daemon's visions. Daemon's still tripping balls.
I mean, these visions are revealing so much about Daemon's true kind of regrets, his actual sincere feelings on a lot of stuff, because you're always left wondering if he is this callous bastard that doesn't really care. But this is really getting to the core of some of his vulnerability, which I find really intriguing.
So,
especially,
I would actually say that like that's been so a lot of. I want all three of you to just. Is this taking too long or is it fine?
Oh, with Daemon?
As in what?
What do you think? I don't want to push anyone in any direction.
Starting to take a little too long for me.
I think that it's tough because my perspective is a little skewed from the book, where we've talked about it before that Daemon does not have a major thing to do until a little bit later. I personally, I'm enjoying it. I'm enjoying getting to see what Daemon is going through and the struggles that he's going through and him reflecting on all the shit that's happened. And personally, I think that the first season really portrayed Daemon basically as a massive pile of shit. And I think we're getting him a little bit recontextualized that, yeah, some of the things he's done are fucking terrible. But his reasons for doing so and maybe his real feelings about all the people that do matter to him, even when he lashes out in a way or responds in a way, he does really fucking care a lot for all these people that are close to him.
Yeah, and that's what I'm enjoying about this as well. Like that, you know, in the previous episode where he sees the young Rhaenyra sewing the head back on, because that revealed that he is really regretful about causing that kid's death, but he can't show it to anyone because that shows weakness. And so I love these revelations, and it seems like at the moment it's well paced in the sense that you're seeing the gradual decline of it getting to him more and more. And this is the episode where he kind of snaps and is done with it all. And so at the moment, I think it's well paced out because he's also meant to be bogged down in Harrenhal and all this crap just slowing him and his actions. It was probably pulled out to another episode where he was just meandering, which we'll get to see if that happens next episode. Then I think it's getting too much. But at the moment, I think this is a good progression for it.
I'm thoroughly enjoying every last scene with him in his visions, but if I were behind the show with a bunch of people, I'd be like, I think you guys might want to pace it up a bit because I could totally see people finding this as I think the audience sees Daemon as much more a man of action, and so having him deal with this, which I think is super important character-wise, might conflict with the sense of pacing until they have the full story. Because have you noticed, and I assume this is very deliberate, some of his first visions are about the more recent events, being obviously the death of Jaehaerys and dealing with his thoughts on Rhaenyra. Then the further you go, we had his mum turned up in a vision, and now it's Viserys and this particular moment, which I believe is like a one-to-one repeat of the speech he gave him before he exiled him, which probably to Daemon sits pretty important in his head because that was the loss of his inheritance.
Yeah.
Yeah, it shows how much that actually really cut him to the core and hurt him. Like it,
yeah,
I
think you're right that this has been gradual, and we're stripping down further and further into what matters most to Daemon. So I'm literally glued to the fucking screen whenever these scenes are on because it tells me everything about him. And Matt Smith's doing a brilliant job. You get every last expression you need.
And man, just the consistent character work and that we're getting more and more of his motivations and stuff like that to show the complexity that's really here with the writing of these characters. Oh, that's great. You know, we do have that recent example where the characters were just retarded. And if they even tried to, you know, show some depth, they just end up contradicting themselves constantly. But then we get something like this, which is just feels like a real character.
Well, what a brilliant choice to have Viserys is just completely vulnerable, practically losing it all, and then Daemon just wants to escape. He's like, "Let me out. This is torture. I can't deal with this." Because he can't deal with it. That was the point. He didn't give Viserys what he needed. The relationship was broken because of his inability to support his brother properly, right? Like emotionally.
To comfort his brother, which then does come around in the second vision that we get to see.
Yeah.
And then he finally does break out and he loses his shit on poor Simon Strong, who is just this fucking dude in this broken castle.
I know.
And like did not plan for this, didn't expect it, didn't want this to happen. And all of a sudden he's got a fucking knife to his throat with a dude who's literally losing his fucking mind. Like actually losing his mind right now.
What the fuck does Simon do? He's just like, okay, do you want to?
Did you get some sleep? Yeah.
Like, I'm starting to think he knows what's going on. Like, they hint at something, later on.
They do,
which
yeah.
I'll also talk about, which indicates that he is aware that his cook/physician girl, witch, he knows what she's capable of doing. And so I wonder if he's part of it now. I'm thinking...
Oh, shit, I have a theory about a particular line that is said very deliberately later on, but... I was going to say, from what we know already, I think Simon is way smarter than he lets on.
Oh, yeah. Hell yeah. Absolutely. Like, even he's written so well because even when they're first introduced, he is manipulating Daemon. Like when he started, he accidentally forgot to say, my liege or something like that after he was asked to do it. That was on purpose. And he's subtly been manipulating Daemon within the realm that he can kind of do it, only pushing him so much, but not going too far.
They're pushing this to the limit, though. I mean, like absolute limit. We got 2 episodes left, and
I was going to say, yeah,
I'm skewed by the book too. Okay,
yeah,
I just am.
You look at that fucking face.
I know. No, Matt Smith is fucking great, dude.
He's been great.
Yeah, he's cooking, as the kids say. But I think that to me, there's no way that Simon Strong, after being in Harrenhal this long, just thinks, what, you're not sleeping, you're great. Like he has to know that weird shit happens in this fucking castle. And you're right. There does have to be more. He has to know, at least to some extent, what's going on.
And I really hope we get just hints of the source of this weirdness, aside from Alys Rivers, which we suspect, but it might not be.
I hope that the next episode, Daemon just walks in to Simon Strong, just fucking blowing Alys Rivers back out in a fucking closet somewhere. They've just been in on it the entire time.
Well, where in the hell was Alys Rivers during the fire?
She fucking warged into a barn owl.
Yep. Oh, she's definitely a warg.
Yes, especially because she said, I'm just a barn owl. And then fucking in this episode, a fucking owl comes down, like fucking Hedwig swooping to Harry Potter. Like, she definitely is a warg.
Yeah, and there's stuff that she knows that is like, okay, where are you getting the information? It's
gorgeous
beyond
step,
whispers.
by the way.
Damon should have some idea about that, though, because she specifically mentions things about Viserys. Like very specifically about
very
Viserys.
Specific stuff about his past.
And I feel like that should tip Daemon off a little more.
I got theories about that too. I actually I said it last episode. And by the way, looking over that last episode scene where Simon seems to look at her, she disappears behind him. His head goes in front and then back, and she's just gone.
She does, however, and I was actually asking the question, because I didn't even think about that till I heard you talk about it. Then I heard a bunch of other people theorize it as well. However, I didn't even think about it, but somebody told me in this episode, Simon specifically mentions Alys.
Oh, we'll talk about that.
So,
yes,
I don't know.
But that line actually makes me think my theory is even closer to correct, because everything she says to him, even from early on, has been particularly aggressive and beheading worthy. Yeah, but he just doesn't seem to do it. And I would never, with this show, assume with something like that they've made that mistake like fucking 5 times. I'd be like, no, this is something else. I think it's that she's in his head. She's like a person that he's got like a particular atmosphere with that doesn't apply to almost anyone else. And it's because she's not actually there. I don't think she's in the castle right now. I do believe that she's real and exists.
Oh, okay.
But I don't think she's actually been in the castle this whole time.
And she makes a point.
In the next episode or the one after it, Daemon's going to make a reference implying she's been here, and Simon's going to be like, no, she's just arrived. and the real one will come in.
That okay? I could.
I don't know.
could buy
See,
that.
because I think she's actually there. And when Daemon was having the vision of doing it with his mum, he was doing it with her. That's my theory.
Whatever you need to work out in your head. Chad, it's okay.
Well,
I think that was her end goal. She wants to have a Targaryen child.
It's not because the line where he says Grover Tully's finally died, right? And the Maesters, because we can just bring it up now, may as well, have been like fussing over him for forever, trying to make him fix him, and then they really wrote it well. The line he says, "We even had Alys Rivers, our Maester. She's amazing. Always trying to do it as well. It didn't work out." The line could mean she's been with Grover for a while, or it could mean she was just sent there and she just failed. But I think that's the point of that, because this is some sneaky dialogue we've been having this whole season with Alys. So I think that the reveal is going to be she hasn't been here at all, and Daemon's going to be like, "Fucking hell, I'm losing my mind."
All right. So if you're right, Mauler, what do you get? And if I'm right, what do I get? And if we're both wrong, I guess
Gary decides.
You both get to have sex visions of your mom.
Yes.
No, that's not a prize.
Why, Ryan?
You fucking ass. Well, you just moved on.
I second that, by the way. So they mention she mentions that we are just pawns. We are there's something far older in this world than you and me, and a little mention of the old gods there. I know a few people probably thought of Bran or Brendan Rivers.
Man,
look at the expressions you get out of this guy.
There's some
she even
weird
looks
looking
like a
motherfuckers
witch
in this show.
Speaking of which, she almost has the same jawline as Daemon. Look,
She really does.
Yeah, she looks like a witch though, like genuinely.
Like you put like a wart on her nose, and it's like,
Well, she has almost one at her brow right there.
I want to see her just get on a broomstick and fly away. A weirwood broomstick. But she basically says, "Listen," and he asked for advice for the first time
ever,
maybe ever. He asked for advice,
Counsel,
and she's like, "Is Daemon Targaryen asking for help?" And he's like, "I'm asking for counsel. Get it straight, bitch." Even Daemon's got like a limit, right, with her.
Yeah.
And she says, "Do nothing for now. In 3 days, the winds will change."
Yep.
And 3 days later,
even when she said that, I was like, okay, she's gonna off him.
Yeah. And that could speak to her actually being there. It takes her 3 days to get there, or a day and a half to get there. Knock off. Like I'm here to help. I'm here to help. Kill Grover. Kill a Muppet.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Seriously though, how much ease they would find acting in a place like this for a fantasy world. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it looks great.
Dude.
Love the tree.
Wonder if we're gonna see the God's Eye. That's all I ask. Be interesting. So now it's time for Darkland to ride the dragon. And looks like he just shit.
He's crapping his pants.
Got shit all over his white cloak.
When we were watching it, I was like, this would be a pretty good way to set up how, I guess, heavy something like this is to have the first attempt fail. It would make a lot of sense storytelling wise.
This revealed something really interesting when it turns out that he's trying to ride Seasmoke. I was like, well, hang on. I thought Rhaenyra knew that they spared her husband's life. Like that indicates that she thinks he's dead, which means doesn't it?
No, I mean it could just mean that they separated in general, right? We never got confirmation on that explicitly.
It is weird because like she knows that Laenor is alive, right?
Does she? Now I'm questioning that. I'm thinking, what if it was Daemon that kept Laenor alive?
I think this confusion is a failure on the show's part. They should have accounted for this because the audience is wondering, can you separate from a dragon without dying?
I do think they should have maybe done something more. To me, it doesn't seem... I'm not really confused. I think Rhaenyra knows that Laenor's alive and that he's perfectly fine. But she's multiple times has talked about... because it's not like she mentioned Vermithor or Silverwing missing their bonds. She says that Seasmoke misses his bond. She didn't say that Laenor's dead or anything. So like to me, I think it's clear that Rhaenyra knows this, but
So
it's just
then-
thinking that the bot, but is restless because the
just
bot. Yeah,
one line of Daemon saying something like, "Do you really think we can bring Seasmoke to our side without Laenor?" And she's like, she just says he's not coming back, and we know that dragons can take on more than one rider, or some fucking line, you know?
yeah.
Because that's my question now. Can you bond a dragon when they already have a rider? But the thing is, though, because Seasmoke now seeks out a rider towards the end of the episode, that's almost like, doesn't that mean Laenor has to be dead?
Well, that's why I'm kind of confused. Why wouldn't Seasmoke just be trailing Laenor specifically?
That's my question.
Maybe Mrs. Laenor. Maybe being abandoned changes it.
That's
That's
my question. Why?
I think that we are going to get a little bit of an answer to that next episode.
Okay.
Because I think that. Go ahead.
So dragons. You mean why isn't Seasmoke pursuing pursuing Laenor? Because well, according to George in his last Not a Blog, which may be directed at this show, dragons are they stay at home. They're pretty territorial, and they stay mostly around Dragonstone. They'll be at King's Landing too, but that's because they're brought there, but they're more comfortable at Dragonstone, and they don't wander off to the north, or they don't wander off to the Vale. They don't wander over to the free cities. They don't go across the sea. They just don't do it. Now that's changed this episode, and we'll get to that, because we have to get to that, because like that's a big fucking change. It's a huge change.
Like, to me, I think, and obviously we're skipping ahead here, but at the end, he's seeking out somebody that I feel like reminds him of Laenor very specifically.
Yes, that's what I meant earlier.
That's why he's
seeking him out.
I think Laenor's dead. If they're going to be true to the rule, like he was, I don't know, off knife in the back or something after he left. But
he got AIDS from all the gay sex.
I wasn't going there.
Oh, sorry. I thought I was reading your mind.
You got dragon scale. So yeah, here we go.
Seasmoke looks fucking awesome, by the way.
Yeah.
Seasmoke, I was gonna say, almost out of all the dragons in the show, feels like one of the most quintessential dragon designs. A lot of them have little changes or color changes, but this one felt to be like, oh yeah, this is a classic looking dragon.
Mm-hmm.
Just with the color choices and the way the face, one of them's got a mohawk. Awesome, but not what I typically expect with a dragon. That would be Moondancer, right? I think has a mohawk. Then of course, like Caraxe's design is fucking cool.
Yep.
But also kind of, you take a step back, like, whoa, look at his neck.
Yeah.
But yeah, got very, but and I thought this scene was awesome, honestly, because they really, the actor did a really good job of convincing me he does not want to fucking do this. He's terrified, and the dragon itself being like, okay, well, and then like him be like, we got it. The dragon's like, nah, fuck this.
You ain't my rider. You're done.
Which I think contrasts really well with how he was pretty confident and sort of like duty bound, the Kingsguard, before coming to the dragon, where he became terrified. Meanwhile, the I forget his name, which is kind of funny, but we've only had like 2 seeds or whatever with him, right? Not Alyn's brother. Anyone?
Oh, I don't know his name.
So it's Alyn.
Sorry, I'm watching the scene again.
Yeah, so it's Alyn and Adam.
So Adam would be the dragon rider at this point. He what I liked about that scene is he was terrified until he got close to the dragon and then calmed down, which is the complete reverse of this scene, which is what I think is well portrayed in terms of that's the kind of temperament you need, the connection you need for a dragon to take you on, sort of thing. You can't just be willy-nilly, even if you're a very honorable Kingsguard, it's a dragon, so.
And he takes a while to die.
It's really cruel.
Like I was thinking, someone put him out of his misery. The dragon keeper just slits his own throat. It's like, nah, I'm not living through this.
That was amazing.
That kind of was to be. I probably shouldn't show that part of thinking about it.
Yeah.
We'll be
Yeah.
fine.
The random the dragon keeper just immediately pulls out a ceremonial dagger and slits his throat because he's like,
Like
I've
he
seen
knew.
this too many times.
Yes. Well, it's probably an agonizing pain as well. And it's like,
Yeah.
I'll cut this short. No need to prolong that one.
Brutal. But yeah, it was a great scene. Like, and
All right.
to be expected, yeah, you're not gonna have somebody just jumping on a dragon.
Mhm.
But apparently you're gonna have a dragon choosing somebody. So
Yeah, that.
All right.
We can talk about that now if you want. I guess they're like twin scenes almost.
yeah.
I'm not too fond of that myself. The dragon like just goes and chooses a person. That feels weird.
I think that I'm really interested to see this first discussion between Rhaenyra and Adam, because my expectation is that we are going to see her be like, what the fuck are you doing riding this dragon? And he's like, I have no fucking idea. Like this shit came after me. It just felt like he wanted me to ride him. I don't really know. I don't really understand. And she asked, who the fuck are you? Like, blah, blah, blah. And he's like, well, I'm the bastard son of Corlys Velaryon. And she is going to like connect in her head that he does kind of look like Laenor, just with different hair, to be honest with you.
Yeah,
and I think she's going to connect that in her head. Whether she's going to reveal that to him or to Corlys or whoever, I don't know. But I do think we're going to get a little bit of that. My guess, maybe one of the opening scenes of next episode.
Yeah. So this is not how it went down in the book at all.
Oh, really?
And this is probably going to be what leads them to doing.
Yeah.
We saw in the scenes more trials, but he was definitely part of the trials. So yeah, that'll be interesting. And they still have some work to do on that for sure. But yeah, the dragon chose him. The dragon chose him.
And it's not like I can't see it fitting in. It's just it just is weird because it's never been happened. Like we've never seen this before, nor have they ever set this up to be a thing before. It's just a thing that happens. So it's like, all right, I guess this can happen. In the same vein that we don't know if Laenor's alive or dead, because I do think Shad's fair in asking that question because we've got no knowledge on that, and whether or not that plays into this, who knows? Can a dragon have two riders at once?
Yeah, I have no idea.
It's never happened that we know of. Now, could you say that because Laenor's gone, the bond is like broken or whatever? Maybe. I don't fucking know. And maybe that's why we've never seen a dragon really behave like this.
Yeah,
we've never seen a Targaryen give up their dragon, like ever.
Well, that's true. I wonder if that can break a bond if the rider literally just abandons them and says, "Stuff you, I'm off."
And the dragon starts calling him every night, like doing one ring and hang up, flying by their house.
It's a scorned lover. It's like, I've been dumped. You're my rebound.
Yeah, no shit.
That's CG, by the way. Look at it go.
That's fucking good, though. God, it looks, dude. All the directing and sets were amazing in this. There's a quick scene with Adam and Alyn at the docks with Corlys.
I have a question about that, right? Yeah. Corlys, right? He was at Dragonstone, and then the next thing we see him is back at Driftmark? Like, is that where they are in that scene, or is this the docks at Dragonstone? Because I'm confused.
I thought this was. Oh shit! Yeah, wait.
This is in Driftmark.
Driftmark, which is not
how long.
Too far away, right?
Okay,
it is close.
It's close. Yeah, to Dragonstone.
It is close to Dragonstone. On Dragon, it's like boom, you're there. You're fucking there.
Yeah.
On ship, it might take like 2 days or something, maybe.
It'll take a little while.
But like not. It's close.
Why doesn't he have a dragon, Corlys?
He is not. He doesn't have any like Targaryen blood.
Yeah. He's Velaryon.
He's Velaryon, yes. And Velaryons are not dragon riders. Now, he's married to a dragon rider, which is why their children were dragon riders.
Okay.
But he specifically does not have it. Velaryons were not dragon lords. They are from Valeria, but they are not dragon lords.
Yeah.
Not every house. Same with House Celtigar, which is a very lesser known Valyrian house that also came over.
Yep.
They are not dragon riders either, but they do have a really cool Valyrian steel axe.
Targaryens weren't even like the top of the food chain in Valyria. They were kind of a lower house. They were still dragon lords, but they weren't top tier or seriously considered.
Driftmark would have to be close because there's a couple of times when people at Dragonstone seems to get there very quickly. Like even the scene between Corlys and what's her name in the previous episode, as like they were at Dragonstone before, and then bang, they're at Driftmark having a conversation. It's like,
we got Ulf.
Yeah, sowing seeds of discontent.
Yes.
We've got dragon seeds and discontent seeds.
And discontent seeds being planted by the whore.
Which, by the way, she did such a fucking bad job of being subtle. Like, you know, this our royalty sucks ass. Anyway,
I know.
Yep.
Well,
I wonder if like this is also the dude who like very openly in this fucking bar was like, Aegon stole Rhaenyra's crown and like blah 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 until Aegon fucking walked in. So
yeah, and it's pretty risky saying the true heir to the throne, Rhaenyra, out loud.
It could be indicative that it's no longer too scary to do that. As in, like, a lot of people been doing it.
Maybe. Well, he overhears. I can't remember the whore's name. It's just the whore. Is sowing the seeds of discontent, talking about there's no food, there's nothing but fish, everything sucks.
And
like, hey, everything sucks. Yeah.
And so it really seems like this is all just what the white worm is telling her to say. That was what they kind of hinted at the last episode.
I mean, if you saw the next time on, like they've set it all in place now. It's funny, right? We got this scene with him and the Hugh scene and the other characters. That it's just the show is like, see, and you're like, yeah, I get it.
I guess that's good. It's better than them flying in out of nowhere.
Oh yeah, better than nothing for sure.
Yeah. That is followed. Sowing the seeds. We got to have Ulf and Hugh in an episode now, and you'll see why. They're not going to disappear. This is where she bitch slaps the Lord.
She do be doing that.
Now. And he's just pointing out, like,
exactly,
Kingsguard, that was kind of stupid what you just did. And she knows, but she slaps him. She goes, I need to remind you. You seem to have forgotten to fear me.
So the reason why I liked this was finally she made a stupid mistake that matches her like emotional state instead of just a strategic failure after doing nothing for a while, you know? This felt, I think I felt something's a little missing from her in this season of, I don't know, like, does anyone get the sense that they're rounding off her edges?
So what the reason that I have a problem with her characterization this season is very specifically because of how he ended the final scene of season 1, which was her turning around with this face of fury.
Yep.
Right. Where it felt like, hey, gloves are fucking off. They just killed my son.
Yeah.
That then changed, you know, like her temperament definitely changed. I mean, then it's still kind of all about holding the realm together because of this secret, because of this Song of Ice and Fire, because of all these things. But it feels off to me the most because of the way they ended last season. Which is, I think that's the annoying part of it.
Well, so the argument that people would make is the Jaehaerys thing completely undercut her rage. She like lost it all after that, which, I mean, yeah, but also, I mean, you know.
But one thing they also have been doing, and even Misaria pushed for it in this, was the Visenya arc. She has now been like reading about Visenya over and over again. She's doing her hair like Visenya. She wants to hold a sword like Visenya because Visenya was a warrior queen. Because Visenya did this and Visenya did that. Yeah, Visenya did do that. Visenya is also pretty fucking dark and evil.
Yeah.
So I think, you know, I think we're gonna see her embrace the Visenya arc at some point in the series.
Because yeah, everything he said was true. It's just there's a sense of, can you stop being critical of me when I know full well I just fucked up?
And
which,
not,
you know,
and not just like, hey, telling you these facts. It's like, I told you from the beginning, this was kind of stupid. I did this. I told you that. I told you that. It was like, hold on, fucking know your role, bitch. All right. Like you are here to advise me or whatever, but he was very much like pushing everything onto her and trying to make himself look like he knew what to do the whole time.
There's a level of respect he doesn't have, but I think it makes sense that he doesn't have it for her. They've gone over this a couple of times.
Yeah, I agree.
And he's,
she even kind of understands it later.
Yeah.
In another scene, but we'll get to it. But yeah, she's been fucking up. I know everybody's been seeing her as good, and again about dulling her edges.
Yes,
I guess from the book. Yes.
I wasn't even going like, I'm just saying in general, I feel like she's like in a fucking padded cell, her character. She's not allowed to go any further than anywhere.
Well,
and it almost feels like this episode at the end acknowledges that. And it's like, all right, it's time to get her doing stuff that is a bit more edgy, maybe.
She's not in the book a lot during this part. Yeah. So they're adding a lot.
The other thing is too, I almost guarantee when they finally do that, it's going to be like, oh, another girl boss like that. That is going to be like the if they do that, that's what people are going to say about it.
Yep.
She didn't, and we kind of did see why, right? Even though she wants to fucking go out, she wants to like do all these things. We saw what happens when kings and queens go out and do that. It did not end well for the Greens. And I'm sure that's what everyone's fearful of for her.
By the way, this one shot is better than anything in the Acolyte. Like, and it's her holding a sword. You know what I mean? It's not like a particularly super important thing. They just have a cinematographer that is like, better make it an interesting shot.
Yeah. By the way, I freaking love that sword. That looks awesome.
Yeah, it's an awesome looking sword.
We have like, even I was thinking in the last episode when I rewatched last episode, just a 1 minute, very slow zoom in of Alicent's face as she realizes everything that's happening with all the background back and forth of the council once she realized she's been sidelined. Like just that one fucking scene is better than every single piece of shit in the Acolyte.
Is that a Valyrian steel sword? Because it has the kind of pattern on the blade that they usually show for Valyrian steel.
If it is, I don't know what it is. It would not shock me that Dragonstone would have a couple Valyrian steel things laying around. Obviously, we know there's a Valyrian steel dagger that was just fucking, chilling. Yeah. That was not necessarily accounted for either. It wouldn't surprise me, but I don't specifically know.
Because it looks cool. I like it.
It does look cool. I don't know, like it's her trying to figure, like she's feeling pent up and she wants to do stuff. Now in the book, she's still recovering from pregnancy from a miscarriage, right? So she's distraught in the book most of the time. So all this is pretty new. So she is regretful that she sent her fucking there's one of her few Kingsguards off to his death, probably in a really stupid manner. Yeah. But it was out of desperation. So here to rescue everybody is fucking the character I like the least. I cannot stand Misaria now. Like, and she was in the background in the books, and she's supposed to be kind of a master of whispers, kind of a Varys type. And by the way, she's described completely different in the books. And I just don't think this actress is really very good at it, to be honest with you. I think she's the weak link in the show.
I don't know what's going on with who writes her, but she panders so hard to Rhaenyra, it's boring. Yeah. When Otto says something like when Aegon says I'll be seen as weak, and he's like, you are weak, or you are seen as weak. Those are the kinds of lines you're going to want to hear from your top advisors, basically giving you pushback. But all she's ever done, she fits. If you watch this season in a more cynical view that she is grasping for power and just taking full advantage, everything matches.
And that's kind of, I don't think they're going to do it.
No, they're not. They're not even getting close to that attitude. No, the show thinks she's awesome.
Yeah, the show does think she's awesome. If we get a, I don't like what they're doing. If we get a heel turn backstab from her in like season 3 or some shit, I
would prefer a lot of this if that happened.
It could recontextualize a lot of things, and I wouldn't necessarily rule it out. I don't feel like they're going to do it because I think they like the idea of them and this power couple, like blah blah blah. I think they like that. However, if they do that and set that up, holy fuck, that will recontextualize everything.
She's
it would be basically, hey, she's like doing these things, she's trying to get close to her, she knows that like she is vulnerable and be able to be taken advantage of like this. It would change the way I view the character entirely.
Yep,
it would make sense for a character if she's doing that, because that's what she's done her whole life. Manipulate people.
It was still
she did it to Daemon.
That Rhaenyra has been so susceptible to this, though.
It fits with her character, though, doesn't it?
I don't think so.
She just wants people to. She wants validation for herself, and she's always stepped out and done stupid things in terms of being overly horny and wanting to gratify herself and stuff like that. And she makes bad decisions all the freaking time.
I way prefer decisions I can actually lock into, like reasoning that relates to experience. She was explicit in explaining everything wrong with having Misaria around, and she still trusts her completely. It's completely broken. The writers protect Misaria at every last corner of this fucking show, and
it's a little forced. You're right. She is just like, you go, girl. It's a horrible advisor, by the way.
I think it's cringy that they remember this happened in Game of Thrones with some characters, right? Like Arya eventually became protected by the show. Nothing could go wrong with her, and people talked about how George, that was like his favorite character, right? Arya, so she got like a shit ton of story where it's not that you couldn't have done that for the characters, that she survives insane shit, peaking, of course, when she gets knifed in the gut like 5 times and then chicken soup heals it. That was some of the most ridiculous shit. Now, I'm not saying that we've gotten that point with Misaria. I'm just saying it's very clear she's given deference by the writers where many other characters would be given consequence.
Because it's Game of Thrones. And that could still happen, but it doesn't feel like it. If like her see every time she comes on the screen now, we're like, oh,
here we go. Because she never says anything I find particularly interesting. She doesn't challenge Rhaenyra anyway, give her insight. She just turns up, says you're awesome and you should win. And I've got the key to that right here. Because remember how I said I was completely fucking useless? I'm not actually. I am incredibly useful. I can win the fucking war for you. It's like, oh, okay. just sort that out if you could.
Sure.
Yeah, and like she is like with what she is doing, obviously it is paying off in King's Landing with what she's able to do and the connection that she does have between the small folk. That is like her role, right? She has this link between all of these people in power who also want unsavory things, and all of the people, the small folk of King's Landing and the realm, and what they want, what they care about, and also the unsavory things.
So there's still potential they could fix it.
Yes,
but
I mean,
I don't have much faith in that. As much faith as I do have in pretty much all the writing in this show. I don't like her character. And
Season 1 and 2 has portrayed Misaria as a very good person, forced to do some things that aren't very cool, but she's suffered miserably throughout her life as a result of all the houses toying with the small folk, and she's finally grasped some power. Otto Hightower knocks her down, then she's risen up again by Rhaenyra to join with another underdog in this situation to take revenge on all the houses that did her wrong. That is exactly the story I'm getting from this, and it's not particularly interesting to me because whereas I think a lot of other characters work to get their underdog status up to the top, she has been provided some serious fucking shortcuts. Which have been a little disappointing.
Yeah, it does feel like the writers have a bit of a blind spot with her. We'll have to see.
We'll see. All right. Well, but one of the plans they concoct kind of works. We'll get to that. So they talked about the lack of food in King's Landing, right? So we see some sheep being brought through. Now they set this up earlier because during war, the dragons need to eat more. And the dragons are eating better than the people right now.
To be fair, they probably should. Like, you know,
I mean, you're right.
They got to be prioritized because they're the things that keep the dragons at bay. The dragons do. You know what I mean?
But optics matter. You know, even Aemond brings up later. It's like, hey, we're not the ones blocking all the people. We're not the ones putting up the blockade. It's like they don't care. They're just not hungry.
I actually really appreciate that the show threw that in because any viewer could be like, yeah, it isn't his fault. It's like, it doesn't matter. You're in charge. You're the reason they allow you to rule them, right? That's like the argument that's being made here. When you have a whole populace that are like, yeah, I like you because you provide us a safe, secure, like Viserys, you know? It's like, but once you don't, they'll start to wonder why you're in power.
And the people liked Viserys.
Yeah, I like those
Yeah,
lines
they
where
do.
they threw in that,
Yeah.
Viserys never feasted when the people were hungry and stuff.
Yeah.
Probably all made up bullshit, to be honest. He probably
Yep.
did. But yeah.
Well, whatever it was better than now.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. So there's a food line, and they run out of food before his poor wife gets some. And then they bring it up in another council meeting, which is great because I could watch these all day. To be honest,
Watch the council meetings forever. Yeah,
I can watch those balls drop all day.
this one in particular.
Well, I'm getting old, Ryan. That's gonna happen.
Yeah, this is I
Can't beat gravity.
Bro,
love
Larys,
this one.
yeah.
For Larys doing his usual shit, but backfires so hard in this scene that he gets humiliated. It was kind of fun to watch.
And the thing is,
Iron Rod is just in there smirking. That's all he does. He makes sarcastic kind of insults.
He's kind of funny.
I actually really like him.
Yeah.
But I tell you what, if you wanted to say anything that would turn Larys against you, this is what you're saying.
Yeah. You could see he was making his gambit. He was essentially like, "Hey, the hand, you need to fulfill it." And then Aemond just immediately being like, "Do you think I'm retarded? Like, why are you talking like that?" Because it works on everyone else. Typically, it works on people who, one, don't understand the subtext, but two, also do and tolerate it. Right? I could totally see Larys talking this way to Otto, and Otto would not say like, he would talk to him back in the same way. The subtleties, right?
It would be a Varys Littlefinger conversation.
Yes.
Right. In this
but Aemond's just like, no.
Aemond's like, do you think I'm as retarded as my stupid mother or my drunk brother? Go fuck yourself. I'll get an actual hand, not a club-footed bitch. Like,
oh
that's
God.
what Aemond said.
When he's like, yeah, the search for a hand is super important, but okay, I you know what, you're perfect for the job. And then he's like, oh my God, I'm so honored, thank you so much. And he's like, no, you fucking toad, I want you to find my hand.
Get me Otto. But the look that
Iron
Larys
Rod
gives him,
is laughing too. He's like,
Larys is just like, you're dead to me now.
Oh yeah, dude, he's made an enemy out of him for sure. But I love the fact that Aemond recognizes I need Otto. He's probably my best option, which is so fucking true.
It fits perfectly because even when they were young, you saw Aemond kind of reporting to Otto saying, hey, by the way, my brother's drunken idiot. And you could see that they probably do have that mutual respect already. And so it makes perfect sense he would pick Otto.
Time to get Otto back.
Oh, fuck yeah, I need him. I need him, all right? He got 2 episodes. He got his greatest scene of all time, and then he left. It was horrible. We could skip by that part.
Orwell basically says, "Hey, Aegon's
he's doing better.
Okay.
Yeah,
he's pretty fucked up, but he doesn't. I don't think he's gonna die. I think we've passed the point where we can fear for his life."
Well, the fact that Aegon reacts with fear when he sees him, he knows exactly what Aemond
I don't remember anything. I swear to God, I don't remember anything.
I didn't see anything.
It's so great.
I got neuralized.
Yeah. Both of them are like, so we both know I tried to kill you. No one else can know, buddy, because you know what happens if someone else knows. They die, and then you die.
Yep.
And he gives him his ball.
Yes, he does.
Because he has his balls in his hand.
Yes. Very subtle. Very subtle with that.
Well, is he carrying Blackfire? Is that Blackfire?
Yeah, that's it.
Oh shit! I didn't even realize that.
He had the knife the previous episode as well, didn't he?
He grabbed the knife because it like fell off Aegon apparently. But Blackfire they pulled from the little casket thing, and I did not see what they did with Blackfire. But apparently, he strapped it on.
Yeah,
Prince Regent.
He kind of has the right for now.
This is a super interesting scene.
Yes, because this changes a lot from the book. So
potentially it might. Yes.
Well, there's a dragon. There's a dragon in the Vale, and it's stealing sheep.
Yes. And there happens to be a young brown girl who is in range of this.
Yeah. But like, I was trying to think, which dragon could it be?
There are a few wild dragons out there.
Okay.
There are some that hang out at Dragonstone. Most of them do, but there are a couple unaccounted for wild dragons that have never been ridden by anyone before. And that's basically as much as we can probably tell you guys now.
Okay.
Well,
Yeah.
I mean, just going from what we've seen, all of her scenes are related to how I don't have a dragon, I don't have a dragon, I don't have it. And it's like, so I wonder, is she gonna get a dragon?
Yeah. And that is not like an uncommon feeling for someone of Targaryen descent. Look at how Aemond was so fucking laser focused on his dragon.
Yeah.
That is like a sign of like a Targaryen that is not able to bond with a dragon. That's a sign of shame. Just is.
And yeah, if you didn't fucking realize just how small this dragon is, like, holy shit.
Yeah. And she's sitting there. Now that was Joffrey that we saw, the last son of Rhaenyra and Laenor. And now she's sitting there babysitting Aegon and Viserys. Aegon the younger and Viserys.
Aegon the younger.
So those are the two children that Daemon and Rhaenyra had.
Yep.
They're very young.
They are.
That's all I'm going to say. They're very,
old.
very young. So, yeah. And
the that dragon is a little guy.
Mhm.
So that's what I mean. Like, the thing that me and Gary have been talking about for a while, there are things that don't add up if they do want to do it sooner. And I just don't know if they're going to do it. I don't think they will.
we'll find out.
Yeah.
But Rhaena, like, notice there's a dragon in the Vale. And, it was interesting that, and I doubt it, but George did a huge fucking blog about dragons, about his dragons and the difference from other dragons and how important it is that we stick to his dragon lore. And by the end, he just, I'll get the quote. What he says at the end.
I've seen people discuss it. It's like people are theorizing whether or not he took a hard shot at this show.
There was so I think it all started with there was a because George's dragons very famously have 2 legs and not 4.
Yeah.
Yes, that's
and
how
there was and there was, I think, a mistake in one of the emblems for, I don't know which side it was, the greens or the reds, a dragon that had 4 legs.
I think it was the Reds, funnily enough, that had it, because I remember people saying the Greens had the correct dragon, but obviously
the Greens and the Blacks. So I don't, and I don't know. I guess I haven't really noticed it in the show. But yeah, his dragons famously have 2 legs, and I think that's what started it. Was him just like reiterating, this doesn't make any sense for dragons to have 4 legs. No, there's no creature in the world that has 4 legs and wings.
Yeah.
Well, there's also no dragons in the world, I guess.
I highly doubt he's pretty, like, he's heavily involved in this show. He is heavily involved in this show. But,
I mean, I got the impression from the flag itself that you could argue it had 3 heads, right, representing the conquest and everything. You could argue that the 4 legs are just there to, it's not anatomically correct completely in universe anyway. But I think if it were me, I would totally respect the need to have it be the way that he's looking for and the way it's accurate to the books. He says, I think the first 4 or 5 seasons of Game of Thrones got it right, and then they switched it. I don't know what the reason was. I think he speculated it could have just been a mistake, and it just took on, and then House of the Dragon adopted the mistaken flag. So, yeah.
He says fantasy needs to be grounded. It is not simply a license to do anything you like. Smaug and Toothless may both be dragons, but they should never be confused. Ignore canon, and the world you've created comes apart like tissue paper.
By the way, it's really funny that he's advocating for this when, if I remember correctly, the nerd fight that's happened for centuries almost is the you should never be considered a dragon if it doesn't have 4 legs. It should be a wyvern.
Wyvern is usually have 2. Yeah.
But he's this is the thing. This kind of proves the whole you get to make your own fucking rules with your own fiction. He's saying no, 2 legs, dragon.
Well, when you make your own world, you get to set those rules. Absolutely.
And there are wyverns, by the way, in A Song of Ice and Fire as well.
Oh, really? I didn't know.
How many legs do they have? 1.
I think 1. Yeah, they hop around.
But look, I like that as advocating for keeping true to canon and lore. Hollywood needs to get that in their head because usually they don't give a crap. So it's important. It's important for consistency and stuff.
So Rhaena is pissed because she was brought up there to be, basically not a hostage, but a guarantee for the Vale's armies. And She brought her dragon, and apparently there's a dragon up there already. It's a wild dragon, though, possibly. Again, we just saw a bunch of burnt sheep.
Yes.
Up in the Vale where it's cold. Dragons don't really like to hang out, but okay. So there we go. So there's possibly a dragon, and there is, oh man.
What
I do we
say here, Ryan?
For it, right? The whole dragon's gotten hungry. That's why it's up here. Like they tried to put into the show that, hey, this is unusual.
They did say that. And I do think that there have been rumors all around Westeros of dragon sightings here or there. A lot of people think people are full of shit, but then every once in a while, it does seem like there's a little, maybe something to this.
Like flying around, sure. Sure. Why not? But living, I don't know. But it's a big change from the books, and it looks like there will be a character missing. It looks like this.
It might explain why that. Yeah. And it was weird when we heard that there might be a character that wasn't cast for this, but
which is kind of funny if you think about it.
It is. It's hilarious. But let's move on.
Yeah, once we get there, we'll explain it to you guys, and then you'll have a good chuckle. It's because it's pretty fucking funny. But we'll move on. There's Adam again. And Alyn discussing Corlys raising him up. Obviously, he's shaving his blonde hair.
Mm-hmm. I appreciate it as a detail, but I was thinking to myself, if he's doing that to try and, sort of hide or at least not draw attention, surely he didn't do that when he was first being raised, right? Like in this area.
He might have because
his parents might have.
His parents might have. But
under orders, or would they have just done it to protect him?
To protect him, maybe. But like and it would be to protect him from Rhaenys, probably. If it was not if it was a different situation, they might not care. But because it's Corlys,
yeah. And there is a history in Song of Ice and Fire of people with Targaryen blood either dyeing their hair or altering their hair or shaving their heads in order to prevent being identified.
Yeah, there's a whole show coming up with
that literally
shaved head Targaryen. So
yeah.
So yeah,
I do wish that they would. I do wish that they would make a bigger point that not all people of Targaryen descent have that hair. I get aesthetically wanting to do it so that it's easy for a viewer to immediately identify this person as different as a Targaryen. But for instance, Rhaenys in the book has like jet black hair. Because she's descended from a Baratheon. Because she's descended from a Baratheon. Well, We've heard about Baratheon dominant genes, black hair, stuff like that before.
Are you saying they should establish that they can be non-white, silvery hair, even if both of your parents are Targaryens? Or because we've already established in this show, for very specific plot reasons, that even...
Yeah, that's true. You're right. You're right. I guess you have Jace and his kids. You're right.
Yeah.
They do have that, yeah. So I'm retarded.
Well, this scene kind of is establishing that
they're brothers, and one has white hair and one doesn't. That's a good point.
Damn.
Anyway,
I was going to say this scene, funnily enough, was almost slightly a little bit redundant. It mostly tells you everything you already know.
Yeah. I kind of forgot about it.
We had a conversation that was basically this in the last episode.
I mean,
we did.
Well, did they show that they were brothers? Because
they've shown from like the get-go that they're
they've shown their brothers. They've shown that Adam is more restless about their lot in life. Meanwhile, Alyn isn't. We already know that.
This was technically the first time that they just said it.
That's what I'm saying.
It had been implied. Yeah, it had been implied in like episode 2. It was implied by Rhaenys in episode 4, and this finally they just came out and said it. We're the bastard sons of Corlys Velaryon, which I think this show's audience is smarter than that.
I felt it was a little bit clunky. I was like, oh, we already got all of this, and I thought that was kind of the point of those previous scenes, because otherwise there's not much to draw from them. That was the information, you know what I mean?
Oh, because I actually missed that the guy was his brother with the black hair. And so,
they were explicit, I'm pretty sure, right? Like when he met him on one of the scenes.
I can't remember that. Like that's so. This scene was useful to me to actually
See, they said brother, and Shad just thought it was because they were black. So, yeah.
Can you blame me?
Well, let's speed up a little bit, but this especially we can skip all the Misaria scenes for fuck's sake.
What even happens in the?
Well, they have a good idea. They have a good idea that actually works. But I like Jason this scene. Like he's like
He's good. Yeah,
he's
Jace
good
is
in
cool.
this. Yeah, he's cool in this. He's like you know, she's like they see Rhaenyra's like they see me as a mother and a daughter, and that's why the other lords are protective, and I kind of get it, but like they can't see me that way. And he's like, I see you as a ruler and my mother, and I wouldn't have it any other way, you know. Maybe it's just you. But then Misaria shows up and goes, our plan is happening tonight.
yeah.
Our gift is sent.
I got her
And
delivery.
see, this is setup. Look, they hang out. They get in. They develop. You know, they're so close. These two. Aw, shucks.
Yep. So the plan was to send the small folks some food in small ships, and it's a good plan. It's a good idea.
It's pretty risky. Like
Well, what else you gonna do?
it could have backfired if any soldier or patrol came upon the boats first. They could have easily commandeered it, and then it could have looked like Aemond. Hey, I am going to be a nice ruler. Here's more food. That where did it come from? Oh, we found it.
Well,
So I'm not sure about the logistics.
I actually partially agree with you. You could say efforts in the gullet we managed to get through a lot of the things that were promised to you from our works, but that were prevented by Rhaenyra. You're somewhat right, I think. I mean, didn't she say something about cloud? She was hoping it would be a particularly covered night or something.
She wanted to be like a cloudy foggy night, so they wouldn't see it come through. Yeah.
Yep.
Could have backfired massively.
Sure.
So
Going
I'm
to
not
King's
sure.
Landing to talk to Alicent could have backfired a little bit too.
That's true.
Now, my assumption with this is that they didn't just like fucking push it
From Dragonstone.
I would imagine they brought some boats in under the cover
Yeah.
of night, loaded these up at like
So the blockade
just
has all the
offshore.
supplies. The
Yeah,
blockade
just
has
offshore,
all.
yeah.
Yeah, so they're like they've got a surplus of food right now. So why not give it away? They couldn't even eat it all if they wanted to. So yeah, and I'm sure they lost a bunch of those boats.
And look, Shad, there's fog.
There's fog.
There's fog, Shag. Now
What
I
if
said
the people who found it
dude
didn't tell anyone, and they just
first thing I said. If I was that dude, I'd just get on the boat and start fucking.
I mean, I think they probably did, and it wasn't until people just saw them fucking running into town with it that the word spread, and like more people fucking went down there and shit.
Then you can't do shit about it. Yeah, and it turns into a food
See,
riot.
I wouldn't run it into town. I would have if I was after myself and not wanting to help anyone else, I would have hoarded it all on the sea.
This guy took one of these for himself.
Oh, this
And
guy
he's
took like
everybody.
6 bags. He took 6 bags home and then told everybody if he was smart.
After he started selling a bunch of it, he sold a bunch of it before he told anybody else there was more shit. Yeah.
But what good is money if there ain't no food?
Aegon is hurting, and Master Owal says he'll live, but he probably ain't gonna be shit after that.
Yeah.
Yep. He's not running.
And Alicent apologizes to him, right? In the scene. Like just as I'm sorry or something.
I think so, because she's definitely starting to express that guilt that she's failed her children.
For sure. This episode makes that explicit, which a long time coming, to be honest with you.
Yep.
Yeah, we find out later that the good one was the one not raised by her.
Yeah, and Gwayne's like, I'm sure you did your best.
I know.
And she's like, I guess maybe I'm just shit. I don't know.
So she Alicent goes out to talk to Gwayne Hightower, her bro.
Who is gay, by the way.
Gay
I didn't know that.
Wayne Hightower.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll see him clapping some cheeks at some point, maybe.
It's a pretty good scene, honestly, because I get the sense these two are trying to look out for each other while simultaneously like trying to imply some realities that aren't so great. But still, and this definitely is her. Like the impression I got is she's just like, so what is my role anymore? And she's taking account, right? Like, look at the state of the kingdom. That's pretty much a failure. And the state of my children. And it's like, what the fuck was I? What did I do? Like, and is just looking for some reassurance for her brother, I think.
And it also is, it does kind of ram home the fact that in Westeros, especially for, this is different, right? The small folk, they have families, they are very close, they're all living in the same house, all that stuff. For nobles, for people of nobility, you know, they can just get sent away somewhere else or raised by someone else and like not know each other. Like she and Gwayne probably knew each other the first couple of years of their life and then got sent away and just like barely saw each other at tournaments and like big things or whatever. But they don't have, not everybody in Westeros has a Jaime Cersei relationship. And I don't just mean fucking each other.
Yeah.
I mean like being next to each other their entire lives.
Yeah.
And just the effort he put into letting her know that her remaining non-psychopathic child is actually kind of awesome in every single way she would want. And the last word being, he's kind.
He's kind. Yeah.
Yeah. So they also mentioned Otto. Okay. And like they mentioned like, well, where is he? We haven't heard from him. There's a line that's there's no, that's what I like about this. There isn't throwaway lines. It's just Gwayne going, he's a resourceful guy. He's a resourceful guy. I wouldn't worry about him.
I'm worried if that's the point they're making, is that it's so weird that Otto wouldn't have sent letters, that something might have happened to him. And it's like, oh shit.
I want to see Otto fucking come into King's Landing on a goddamn dragon. Fucking just
yeah.
That would be awesome.
Yeah, because we know he was sent to be Hand, and what it could be is that he just didn't tell anyone. Does she even know that Aemond chose Otto to be Hand? Because that might explain it. If she doesn't know that he was, given the job back, and Otto doesn't want anyone else to know because that could put a target on him, and so is trying to travel back down to King's
That makes sense.
In secret.
That makes sense. Certainly.
I don't know if enough time has passed that that could happen, but maybe.
Well, Larys knowing and not liking Aemond, I think he'd kill her. Yeah.
Unless Larys put out a hit on Otto is revenge for being spurned like that. I wouldn't put it past it.
But this goodbye between like the look she shares with Criston Cole and Gwayne, it's very like, oh, we're gonna go die, like we're fucked.
They're being told to go to River Run,
Yes.
or not to Harrenhal. Sorry,
they're being told to go to Harrenhal, and Aemond will show up, when the time is right, but you don't know when that's gonna be.
Well, you can't trust him after what happened.
No.
You don't know what the fuck his plans are.
No.
So the other son, Daemon, I'm assuming he is heir to Hightower, and that's why he was raised as ward.
No, he's just ward at
okay.
Hightower. Yeah.
He's a fourth son.
Oh, because that's right. Yeah,
fourth child, third son.
Otto, Otto isn't even
Gwayne. So it is when they do that, when you have that many Targaryens, when you have a fourth son, you need to put one somewhere safe just in case. That's the way that's what it is. It's a fail safe.
Gwayne is Otto's first son, but the Lord of Hightower, I assume, is not. Is Otto's brother or Otto's brother's son?
Yeah. Otto's older brother. Otto is a second son.
Second son.
Second sons have a very interesting role in Westerosi history because you are so close to something.
They're just mad. They seethe and
they
cry.
cause a lot of trouble.
Like Daemon.
They do.
Like
Daemon. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
I like this shot.
Yeah.
She's such a fucking weirdo. She's a weirdo all the time. And Alicent just finally trying to do something with her daughter. Hey, let's go. This sept is like my only place of peace, right? So let's share this moment with me, daughter. We've been through a lot. Let's have this moment. Come to my peaceful place where I sit there and pray to the gods that don't actually exist in Westeros.
That'll work out.
Sure, it will. Sure, everybody lives happily ever after. Didn't I fucking tell you that? Jesus,
you did.
I did. So they find out the food showed up. Hugh got a bag. He stole it from somebody. What a dick. Could have just got his own.
Punch someone out.
Plenty of bags going around.
Yep. Bag of lettuce and there's rights going on. And they went to the sept to light a candle for Aegon and everybody who fell. And then the King's Guard came and got him and said, hey, there's a riot. We need to go. We need to get into the litter. And
there's this. This is actually the perfect shot because it's not too violent.
Oh, yeah. No.
Someone grabs Alicent.
Nice one.
And King's Guard chops his arm off, which has this distinct thing of oh, like the whole crowd sort of take a pause. They go from being like, boo, we don't like you to, oh, we're gonna fucking kill you.
And Alicent knows too. She's like telling them not to do it. Like, don't fucking do this. Don't fucking do this. And then chops his arm off. And even then she's like, sheathe your swords, put your fucking swords away. We just need to get out of here. But this King's Guard that was promoted by Aegon, who have no idea what they're doing and immediately get overwhelmed and panicky.
Specifically those guys, I think, possibly died. You could tell they had no fucking clue what they were doing.
One guy gets beaten on.
One guy's probably dead. Yeah, he probably gets ripped to shreds.
Yeah, it turns out the old dude is the one that seems to actually be in control, knows what he's doing. But the two young guys are just overwhelmed. They don't know what's going on.
And luckily, there were some high tower guards there too, so they saved Helena and Alicent.
Yeah, I think you got some city watch there as well.
Yep.
This was the scene that I like. This is the scene that I had seen in the trailer that I thought was during Jaehaerys's funeral.
Yeah,
that we saw the riot, but and I was like, did they delete that or something? But no, this is what it was from. So,
yeah,
and they barely get out of there.
Barely.
Yeah, it's close.
And they got to pick at least one more Kingsguard now. So I'm pretty sure he's dead. She got cut, and Muller, you noticed she gets cut in the same place.
It looks to me like the point of this is, she got cut where she cut Rhaenyra back in season 1.
There you go.
Now they see you for who you truly are. Or whatever.
Callback to season 1. Very subtle one.
It's very subtle. You could easily miss this, and it's just like it's like a little symbol of what she's likely thinking about, which is holy shit, everything's come to ruin.
Especially because we didn't talk about the crowd is chanting "Long live Queen Rhaenyra! Long live Queen Rhaenyra!"
Not great from your own subject.
No. So they obviously don't give a fuck now, and that is that. So they make it back. This is a good.
Dude, look at that shot. Look at that lighting. Oh,
there's been a couple of shots where the cinematography is just very well done. I found this scene very interesting because basically Larys is saying, "You're like me. We're a team. I got your back."
Honestly, Larys is climbing back up again from being sort of he's a super interesting character in that the previous scene, right, where he overstepped with Aemond and realized there's no avenue there to gain power. He's going back to his prior attempt with Aegon, and he's basically saying, "It's you and me, buddy, and we're gonna do this, all right?" And it looked really genuine, like you've got the exact same lot that I got, and it's horrible.
Well, and he cries. Like he actually has a teardrop, showing that stuff has gotten to him and had really messed him up, but he also bears that grudge still and is also sympathizing genuinely. This guy who seemed like he would have no sympathy for anyone is having sympathy for Aegon because he can relate. It's like, yeah, people are going to be talking about you behind your back.
Well,
They're
remember,
think you're weak.
I loved his story because you could tell that the pain on him when he's like, my dad basically said, like, my birth was that of like an evil spell. Someone must have done something horrible. Just from the get-go, everyone thinking
Tyrion, little Tyrion stuff. Hey, between the two of them, they have 2 working legs too. So they.
It's funny because like I was actually born with 2 club feet. So in another world, I could have been Larys.
Oh,
yeah.
Your personality might have matched. Sorry. Sorry, I could be a psychopathic murderer. It's like, right.
Definitely.
This felt very like there's plenty we can do to fuck people over. And Aegon's just like, okay, let's do it. If it means I get to be alive.
Aegon's like, just let me die.
I just want the drugs, man. I just want the drugs. So that's a really good like little scene there that I like.
Yeah, I actually wasn't expecting so much of Larys's vulnerable side or character to be revealed like that, and it makes sense. It's like, all right, wow, okay, we get to learn something very significant.
Well, he's just doing it to fucking win over Aegon.
As well, but that tear felt it was genuine as well.
Yeah, this feels genuine as he's choosing Aegon. He's like, we're gonna be a team, bud. It's gonna be us,
you and me. Let's do this.
He's choosing Aegon because his other shit failed. He is literally the reason that Aegon's in this situation, right?
Yes.
He is the one that has manipulated Aegon all along the way. So this was not his plan. I don't necessarily think.
No, I don't think so either.
Fallback now.
Well, he was definitely he was just rising the ranks. We've watched him do it since season 1, but he hit a cap. Aemon's not going to tolerate this shit. So he's like, okay.
He pivoted.
Yeah.
Pivot. Yeah.
Pivot. We get probably the end of Daemon's visions. Like this is where we kind of been working through with the last temptation of Daemon Targaryen. And
this was the big fuck up, right? Not being there for his brother, and he finally actually is.
He doesn't try to run away. He doesn't run out of the door. He embraces Viserys when he's grieving. This is the thing that he wasn't able to do. Yeah.
Well, he's never been able to do it at all. Like when the stillbirth happened, he was just like,
you're right.
You know, stuff it. He's dealing with his
for
own.
a day, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, well, like he actually now that I'm thinking about it, when Rhaena dies, he's not there for his kids. When Rhaenyra loses their baby, he's not there for her. Like this is Daemon. He's never able to be there in these moments.
Yep.
But it's a big kind of, growth of his character that is acknowledging it and is willing to, even in a dream, is willing to comfort someone in their grief. And his character is growing. And it was
I like the Daemon stuff in large part because George has always said that Daemon, the rogue prince Daemon Targaryen, is equal parts good and evil, and I feel like we have yet to see the good parts as much in this series. And I think he's kind of like undergoing this change, and we're realizing really who he is, like behind the fucking mask and behind all the things he tries to deal with, and I like that. I like that he's not just a fucking evil piece of shit. And we also found out that he didn't choke Misaria later on, which I think we all felt that was what it was implied with their conversation earlier. We found out that wasn't the case.
No.
Man, every time they portray him with his drinks, we never see him deliberately choose to pick it up and drink it. It's always had been drank or drank between hallucinations. It makes me think it's a misdirection that it's got nothing to do with the drinks at all.
It might not. It might not.
They're fucking with us, and we're gonna find out what they're.
But every time, like Daenerys had a vision in the books, there was something that caused it, right? Like,
it's either it's not the drinks, or it's he's not choosing to drink them. It's some kind of spell that gets cast that gets him to drink them.
It has to be because again, Targaryens are dreamers, but I mean, he would have been dreaming before. He would have done that before. So it's Harrenhal, it's the Werewoods.
But the fact that
Alys
in a
Rivers,
weirwood bed, bro.
Yeah.
I love because
awesome.
there's so many things. Even Jaime has dreams in the books when he
sleeps up against that weirwood stump.
Yes, he's sleeping on a weirwood stump and he has these fucking wild dreams. There is something very powerful about weirwoods.
Yep.
Also, Simon, once again, being this kind of sneaky sort of I wonder, he's so aware of what's happening to David, but always pretends like he's just, are you okay? How you doing?
Yep, that's the vibe I'm getting. But look, Daemon, even though he's like out of his adult and stuff, he doesn't miss a beat. He hears, what happened, and his instant reply was, "And what manner was Lord Grover's passing?" He's like, "Yeah," and then when he says, "Oh, physicians have been helping him, and then we sent our own physician," he knows instantly. He's like, "Oh, okay."
That look on his face right Oh, really? That is terrible. All right, so we find out that old Grover's dead, and then we get this final scene.
Well, I was going to say there's just one thing that we didn't mention from before talking about this scene. When Simon leaves, the expression he has on his face is very fucking curious.
He almost smiles, and I think that's a hint. He
knows what's up. Yeah. Oh, yeah. I've never thought for a minute he didn't.
Look at that. He's like,
look at that. Yeah, that look lingers a little bit.
Yeah, he's enjoying what's happening to Daemon. It seems,
Mm-hmm.
which that feels like confirmation. And yes, Daemon has a possibly the most vulnerable moment we've actually seen from him. That's not in a dream. You know what I mean? And I assume this was because he just had his dream embracing Viserys, and now he's just found out that Grover died pretty much the exact same way that would have broadly been described as Viserys.
I mean, but also this is the thing he's been needing for I don't know how long. He has been constantly butting heads and not being able to get this stupid place working, and then it all comes perfectly what he needed. And he said, like, the best thing that could happen is that when he was talking
lord
with the
dies,
heir,
yeah.
your lord would die, and then it's just kind of given to him on a silver platter. And it's like he's breaking down in relief that finally this damn thing is over.
So, was this what Alys was referring to by the 3 days?
Yes,
I think so. Yeah.
100%. This is
Yeah.
my interpretation.
And coincidentally, there was the food riots too. So things change at
Do you
King's Landing
think
too.
Daemon took that to mean that Alys, on his orders, has killed Grover?
Not on his orders, but I think he's taking it to mean that she knew that would happen, and that's why she told him and she's helping him.
Yeah, because that to me is the text, and then, or even arguably the subtext, but the subtext to me is that she was there the whole time, and she's going to be arriving back, and then he's going to find out that he's been fucked with hardcore, both in the dreams, but also in reality somewhat.
Well, maybe literally in the dreams as well. Sorry.
Well,
Yes.
I could be wrong, but I feel like that would be really fun, because the Harrenhal scenes, I really liked them, but I know that a lot of people haven't, and I think adding a whole layer of deception / mysticism to what's happening would probably be a cool thing to do.
A cool thing to. So the final scene. I forgot. We got this.
Well, we kind of talked about this, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
After
Seasmoke-
rejecting Sir Darklyn, Seasmoke is like, I'm gonna find my rider, bitches.
I'm gonna get my
Yeah.
man.
A worthy rider on that.
He's a
Has
cool
true
dragoon.
Mm-hmm. So, like, this does
Look at his little
raise
smile right
questions.
there, by the way. He's got a little.
It does. It does raise questions about, what level of extra sensory ability the dragons have to be able to sense someone's heritage and stuff. Clearly, they have some level of, supernatural ability or something like that.
It depends on the
They
blood.
do. And there are like a lot of different theories and feelings about the Targaryens and their relationship with dragons. Like, do dragons have like such a bond that they actually like carry on memories of Targaryens that rode them in the past, and does that kind of affect their personalities? And what does that do for such an old dragon like Vhagar, who's had so many different riders through the years? And there's a lot of speculation out there, or maybe the same connection that say wargs have with animals. Is that really what the Targaryens have with the dragons? They just don't really know what to call it. Like there's a lot of things like that out there.
Or it's been lost in history. We're supposed to find out when George finishes those books.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah. Rhaenyra and Misaria like get lesbo. They make out.
Rhaenyra says, "Hey, everyone doubts me. Even my son doubts me. And how can I say that they're wrong?" Basically. And Misaria says, "Well, I don't doubt you. I didn't think I'd be able to trust anybody. I made a vow to myself to never trust anybody anymore. But I see you. I see what you're trying to do, and I've decided to trust you and help you because I think you deserve to be queen."
Oh.
And Rhaenyra is so desperate for love and affection that she goes
But
and
also-
hugs her. Go ahead.
The validation of people saying,
Yes.
"Yeah, I think you're a worthy queen, and you're doing a good job." Look, it still felt forced. Like, that was
I hate it. I don't
Yeah.
like it. I don't like the lack of setup. It maybe not be the right thing. I don't like how it was set up.
I would go with lack of setup. Like, they
getting close, clearly.
Yeah.
Much to our frustration, they have been getting close, but I really don't have a problem with Rhaenyra kissing her, because again, in the book, Rhaenyra is speculated to have fucked around with Lena, right? So like that's not like a big shocker to me. It's who it is and why it is and how it is that I don't like this sequence.
See,
Now,
for me,
I'm part of Rhaenyra that is getting joy from maybe hooking up with Daemon's ex in this moment where she's leaving him. I don't know.
See, I'm not sure they set that up in the show, though, that they hinted that she has any gay kind of inclination. Yeah, the closest thing
A
was
little
her
bit in the first season.
Re-
The first season
resting-
with Alicent, yeah.
Yeah, resting on Alicent a little bit, but that's not enough for me. As that's what I felt like. A lot of this felt forced.
It's there in the books, but it's really forced with Misaria, who's been just kissing her ass. And again, if she
She's
does
about
a
to
heel
kiss her
turn,
pussy.
yeah, there you go. If she does a heel turn later, then that would be good. That would be good. But if it's just like she's just there to go, you go, girl, sisters together, little pinky, well, there's more than that. And then
So,
yeah,
question:
no thanks.
was this relationship in the books? Like,
Not with Misaria and her.
Not with
No.
Misaria, no.
See, because it felt like the show doesn't want to be
Misaria
overtly...
is supposed to be a little more like Alys Rivers, not like magical in the sense, but just weird and dangerous, and you don't know. And I'd have preferred to be portrayed like that.
It feels like the show is going out of its way to be able to force this because they think they can justify it to get woke points, but they're like, oh no, it's actually set up in the show, and so it's like,
it's Game of Thrones, so like that part. It's
disappointed with everything to do with Misaria. Like she was fine in season 1, season 2, just almost every scene
except the accent. Just keep the bad accent and make her a better character.
Of course, keep the bad accent, of course. But just every way she's sort of wormed her way through this season has been rather boring and lame, and a lot of the times disappointing. They've really been lax on how they've gotten her from stage A to B to C to D. But you should when we were seeing this happen, I was legit like, what? Like when was this?
I was like, where did this? It came out of nowhere. It just doesn't hold up with all the other characterization in the show at all.
I heard there was like somebody had told me right before. They're like, "Hey, I'm not going to spoil it for you, but I heard there's literal gay shit in this." And I'm like, whatever. I mean, there's there's gay
Game
shit
of Thrones has had
so
gay crap.
there's some gay stuff. And I was watching the whole thing. I'm like, when is it going to happen? Is Alyn going to fuck some dude in the ass? Like, what is it going to be? And then I get to this scene and I hear her spill her heart. And I'm like, oh, fuck no.
Well, and how unfortunate that they chose to make the least developed, interesting, or justified, or chemistry-filled relationship the gay one. It's like, all right, then.
Right.
I thought maybe Gwayne was going to fuck Criston Cole. I was like, trying to figure out what the fuck is going to happen with gay shit. But yeah.
It would have made more sense if Rhaenyra started to have a relationship with, I don't know, one of the other soldiers. Because, like, her whole setup is that, yeah, she likes to have sex with dudes. And she makes bad choices to, have some fun. And so again, this just felt more contrived and forced and even out of the character because she hasn't anyway.
Like I said, I don't particularly have a problem with her hooking up with a girl, especially because of the way Rhaenyra's kind of wanted to.
It's just this one.
Yeah, it's this one.
Yeah, absolutely. It is all the context, right? Because the first thought I had was it's not developed. Second thought I had was like, what are you doing, Rhaenyra? How fucking stupid are you? This girl at this point
fucking walk right in.
So that was actually going to be the stupid part I was gunning for first was just you don't realize how much advantage you're being taken of here. How much this person she was your prisoner like last week. You don't like what the hell is going on, and then third and the most is that you understand a relationship like this can destroy your any respect anyone has for you right now, and then someone fucking opens the door. It's like, oh shit, whoops.
Yeah, it seems like they don't understand locking doors in this universe because it's not the only time someone has walked in on something happening. All
right, so because we're on a time constraint. It ends with she finds out that there's a dragon rider and she takes off on the dragon.
Yeah, Seasmoke has been spotted. They're like, okay, that's nothing new. They're like, but it looks like he has a rider and we don't know who it is. So everyone is like, shit, it's got to be the Greens. Like, who else could it fucking be?
I quite like. Do you remember when they weren't at war last season and Vhagar was flying around after at the night of episode 6? And I think it was Daemon who was like, who's riding it? Because they weren't at war, however. Like, they might be someday, and who the fuck is on that dragon?
I mean, is it serious enough for Rhaenyra to risk flying out on the dragon to confirm?
I think that based on everything that's happened, the fact that her idea just failed with Seasmoke, the fact that she's tired of being cooped up everywhere and wants to take action, I think it makes a whole lot of sense for her to go. Mm-hmm. I don't think they want her to go. You see, wasn't Jace running after her? Like upset that she was about to go.
Yep.
Yeah.
And they were just kind of shaking their heads. So decent episode. I had some problems with some stuff in it, but I thought it was a decent episode. I'm going to get to as many super chats as I can. I got a heart out because I'm going to Comic-Con, but whatever doesn't get read will be read at the finale. Next week we're on the road, but for the finale, we'll finish them all up. So I apologize for that. We're going to get to it. The hobby guy for 50. Hell. The slowness with Daemon, HBO's possibilities for spinoffs dealing with Westeros magic and mysticism. I am enjoying the Ghosts of Harrenhal very much. Shad, can't wait for the fight breakdown of the Acolyte. Love all your perspectives on content. Thank you.
Thanks.
Are
I don't think I need to do one on the last, because there's some dumb moments in the last fight scene, but there's actually some really good moments as well. There's not a,
That's a good reason to do one as well. Let's talk about
I'm tempted. They take a lot of energy to do an effort. And so if I could fit it in, maybe. I'm not, but also Acolyte is dead now. No one's going to give a crap. And so it's like, I'm not sure it's worth it.
When's the Red Letter Media video coming out? Tomorrow?
No idea. We'll find out.
We'll find out. That'll be interesting. I've got a supercut coming out. So there you go. Sam Wallace art for $10. The L scene was all right and well earned. If you ignore that Misaria wasn't literally just talking about father grapes, and if you ignore she should be in a fucking cage. Oh, yes. Yeah, well, I mean, they needed to develop her character better, and it feels like they've had like kid gloves on for her character, and she is well protected.
Dude.
And it feels like they're trapped in their own bubble of intersectionality with this one, when she's a fucking whore. She runs a whore house. She does bad things. Even if it's for the small folks, she still does bad things, right? And it's fine. It's okay. But they're like, oh, I don't know. We don't want to present a woman this badly. So it feels like they've dulled her edges too.
Don't know why they did it so clunkily when she could have been captured. She could have told them explicitly, I'm at my wit's end. Otto Hightower tried to have me fucking killed. You guys, I know you hate me, but I don't really care anymore. I'll give you anything you want. Just let me live. And then she'll give them something useful. Then she'll make the mistake with Daemon and Jaehaerys, and that'll be proof that she has the power and influence. And so then Rhaenyra is like, all right, clearly you're a useful asset. Clearly you've been spurned by the Hightowers. Prove you're loyal to me. Give me like, I'm not going to say as explicit as like, give me 3 benefits of any kind. Just she would have to earn her way out of the prison cell, and then out of being regularly watched by a Kingsguard, and then earn her way onto the council. And I'm not even kidding. This shit should take a while. It can't just be done in a fucking episode.
It was done in 5 minutes.
Oh yeah, the amount of
doesn't stand up to anything else done in this show.
The amount of trust and confidence she has in Rhaenyra now in such a short time is actually pretty insane. It's like, what?
Yeah, and I think it undermines Rhaenyra significantly again, which she doesn't need more of that right now.
Daily Dose for $5. Gary, last week you wished for a Star Wars show with intelligent writing that makes its takes its time for setups and payoffs. Well, you're in luck. Watch Andor. I did. I didn't finish it though. Maybe I will someday.
So you didn't get to the payoffs.
No, and because the setups were fucking slow.
Very boring.
Very boring in the beginning.
There are some people that say that about this show.
Ooh.
Yep. Sir Marhouse for $4.99. Seasmoke. Hey, come back here. You don't look like my last writer. All you people look the same. Oh boy. Terrible.
Seasmoke is racist.
Seasmoke is racist.
He's just honest.
Oh boy. Fat the Meal the Cloud in for 10 Canadian pesos. Last week's EFAP talking about Otto with a YouTube channel made me think of Otto Hightower saying with his full serious voice, and this is my Nintendo shit cube and ATI my ass. Hail Seasmoke.
Talking about, it's too hard to explain all of that to you, but yes, that's great. And that should
Go watch EFAP. I'm sure you can cut through the 8 hours to find the lore. You'll be fine. Just watch the whole thing.
I'm looking forward to watching the Boogie stream. Now that it's
That was
Oh,
pretty good. I was
boy.
watching a lot of it.
Oh, what a journey. We're not even to the actual updated stuff. We haven't even gotten to the cancer part of his journey yet.
Oh, what? It's only half done? Really?
Yeah, it's half done. We're doing the second half this Saturday.
How many
man.
clips did you have again?
Not even kidding, like over 600, something
Woo.
absurd.
Holy crap.
Just remember, he's been going now since YouTube started. So
The autism is strong. With
what's
this one.
crazy is as we were going through his history, like we were starting to notice a really strong pattern with he'd lied previously about being doxxed by people to like destroy his life. He lied about being swatted. He lied about the Tesla situation and stuff. He's obviously there's holes in his lies about his abuse stories. And
This is who he is.
well, wait.
And, like,
The
it's
reason I bring this up isn't because we all know he's a liar, but it was the nature of the way that he lies about them. He takes something that happened and then he turns it into the worst possible version. And then in retrospect, when he's found out to have lied about most of it, he goes, "Oh, sorry. I guess I should have been explicit. When I said I bought a Tesla, I should have said I put some money down for it and was considering buying it." And it's like, yes.
It's always minimizing. It's always minimizing like the damage that he did or the lie that he told, and maximizing the negative effects that anyone calling out upon him will have on his life and how it kills himself.
He was at a VidCon and he got swatted. He found out like through getting cold that's what happened while he was out. Once in a particular part of the year, he then claimed he got swatted twice at a different part of the year where he was at the house and he felt threatened and stuff. Everyone checked with the police and they got logs from the blots and stuff, right? And they went through all of it, and then he was just like, "Yeah, well, I lied on purpose to trick you because you guys have been being really cruel to me because I have been swatted before." The best thing is in one of the latest streams, he says someone's at the door. I'm probably being swatted, and then Keemstar's like, "Oh shit, you could be swatted live." And he comes back and he goes, "It's Papa John's."
All right. Can't wait for part 2. Question for the group: would you rather be protected by Trump's security service or Alicent's Kingsguard? I think it's a toss-up, man, to be honest with you.
Well, one side has guns and would have greater,
Whichever
ability.
side wouldn't hide behind me.
That's also a good point. Is it? Damn.
Yes.
This is...
Mikey Gussler for $10. I was enjoying the episode until the last scene. It was forced like fan fiction, and people are celebrating on Twitter. Well, that's Twitter.
Of course. They
Yes,
are.
Like it's the greatest moment in the show. Hopefully nothing comes of it. Are they new to Game of Thrones? That's like, oh God.
Hopefully nothing. This is what I said. The second
nothing did come of it because they got interrupted.
This is what I will say. There is like a very annoying, loud part of the fan base who are fucking shippers and shit like that. Like they do exist and they're fucking annoying as hell. Pronouns and bios, queers and stuff like that.
I don't like shippers. I hate shipping. It's the worst thing that's ever fucking happened to fandom.
If you have a rainbow flag in your bio, I hate you. Not because you're gay, not because you're gay, just because it's.
I'm gonna put one in now just to test this theory.
I fucking hate you.
You already.
I don't know why.
Unfollow
Sorry. I don't know why I'm holding scissors all of a sudden. I'll put those down.
Sergeant McDumper. Are those Valerian steel scissors? Sergeant McDumper for $5. How much happier would things have been if Emma and Balin hadn't died? I wonder if Viserys and Daemon would have made peace and had a good relationship. Well, we wouldn't have any of these succession problems.
That's kind of the point of the story, right?
Yeah, and there, as far as Balin's death is suspect, totally suspect. He was killed.
Or if Viserys hadn't pushed Emma to have another kid.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that was what drew me into the show. That scene at the fire where he starts to think about that he essentially killed her.
Yeah.
Then the crown would have passed to fucking Daemon, and it would have been awesome.
But Viserys and Daemon's father, Balin, got a stitch in his stomach, just out of nowhere. Got a little something going on with his belly, and his belly burst like 6 days later.
And and Viserys blamed Otto for it. Holy shit!
Yeah.
Their mother died tragically, I think, in childbirth as well.
Yep.
Daemon and Viserys' mom died in childbirth. It's not super safe in the Middle Ages.
No, it's not. Kate Dupree for $9.99. Thought it was such a great episode, but I was completely thrown out of it at the end with Rhaenyra's kiss scene. There was no lead up to that. Classic Game of Thrones move. Well, later Game of Thrones, that's for sure. Louise C for $10. In the beginning, for a second, I thought it was House Ukraine with the colors. It might have been. Not as well funded though. By the Crown. Big flipping boss for $5. They should really put a big bucket of water in that dragon pit just in case.
Like, it's not a bad idea. They knew what could have happened, and so they just had like a
That's
big
kind of funny,
bath of water that he could have just dived in.
Guy comes in with a fucking water gun, starts pumping it like.
That's good. That's good. Vermithor for $5. That scene made it feel like season 1, episode 9. One part really ruins it. Hail to Patty and Matt. Love the scene in Tomb. Too early for the God's Eye. Yeah, I was just wondering if we're gonna ever see it. I think.
Oh, 100% we're seeing that. I like that's a season 3 to me.
Yeah, that'll be fucking cool. That'll be cool. The Desi Thinker for 20 says brilliant scenes with Alicent, Daemon, Clubfoot. That kiss scene was unnecessary, and this is the warning for things to come. They only make favorable changes from books for a handful of characters. Very on the nose writing. 6 out of 10. Yeah.
I would actually argue that the vast majority of characters that we've seen them make some fairly significant changes to have been good.
Yep.
The vast majority of them.
Vast majority. Misaria's not that good. She's not a good character. She's not a good actress. That fucking monotone accent is getting really, yeah. I'm gonna start fast forwarding through her scenes.
Like to me, Viserys and Otto are they were changed a lot up between like what we saw in the books, and holy fuck, those are two of the best characters we've seen like on screen in the past several years.
Yeah, Viserys was just a drunk and an idiot.
He was just a drunk fat piece of shit. Yeah.
Yep. Doing the mouth handshake and with the highly volatile, completely untrustworthy espionage prisoner is Rhaenyra's only joy in life. Says Sam Wallace Art.
She has made some pretty bad choices in romantic partners.
Yes, she has
in her history. So
that part is at least consistent.
And it's supposed to be. It's supposed to be. So. Dakota Stanton for $5. At least Rhaenyra shut Misaria up, and honestly, that's the plan was smart. I like that. Jane Theory's been a member for 50 months. Holy crap, Jane. MVP this episode, Seasmoke. Yeah.
Seasmoke looked badass.
He looks cool as fuck, yeah.
Yeah. If you want something, go out and get it. You know what I'm saying? Mock 9330 for $10. I do not like that Rhaena may be getting sheep stealer. Messes with the lore too much. No nettles. Boo. And again, if that is confirmed, then we'll have a good chuckle about it, because I think it's that
maybe they just merge the characters. I'd like to see Daemon do something.
Yeah, that's gonna.
Yeah, me and Shad just get to wonder what the fuck's going on there.
All right. What is? Sorry. Okay.
I just thought of that. I was thinking of something else, but oh man, never mind. Shogun $9.99. Rhaenyra complaining all the time is stupid. Why can't she see her own mistakes and understand that there will be doubt with her men, and it's up to her to prove them wrong? She's way too trusting of Misaria. Yeah, there is a point where it's like, stop whining and get some action. But at least in this episode, there's a couple times where she goes, listen, I don't blame them. She gets mad, but then she goes, I get where they're coming from.
She should be learning how to fight with a sword and getting proper battle and warfare training.
If you're a dragon rider, that should automatically go with it. I think
that was actually kind of a criticism I raised when she complained, like, if I was born a male, I would have been taught all this stuff. I was thinking, you shirked your education as it was when you're, a teenager. And
that's
if you really wanted.
True. Because, when she denigrated the whole cupbearer thing, it's like the whole fucking point of a cupbearer is you get to listen to the entire conversation.
Yep.
You get to learn Isn't that what Viserys literally said to her? That you get to see how things are actually done. So for one day when you take over, sort of thing.
And if she was insistent as a teenager, gone to Viserys and say, I want to learn how to fight with a sword. If I'm going to be your heir, I need to learn this stuff. I think she could have, wrangled it. And so her blaming everyone else was just another one of, and look, it's consistent with her character, deflecting her own, mistakes and not taking responsibility for them.
Now, the idea of like riding a dragon, like inherently you need to learn how to like battle and warfare. I would say at this point in Westerosi history, you're essentially 100 years removed from any real conflict after Maegor was toppled. Am I about right with that, Gary? Because we're 130, yes. We're like 130 plus AC after Aegon's conquest. So dragon riding is not like for warfare. It's just like, this is what they fucking do. You know what I mean? At this point in time with all these fucking dragons.
I think we're at not to be that guy. Sorry. I think we're at 129 AC in the books at the book part. I don't know where the fuck we are on the show, but
I think it ends at around 131 or 132 AC. The Dance of the Dragons does.
So Rhaenyra. Oh, wait. Sorry. Jane Theory. Jane Theory for $10. What's up, Jane? It's great to see you back, by the way. I wonder, I'd volunteer to try for a dragon. It's worth the risk. Would you? Hail.
If I had the bright blood, maybe.
Yeah. If I had a lot of strong wine, milk of the poppy, a bunch of sheep, and a lot of time, maybe.
It depends what else. It depends what else I had going for me. If I'm a fucking Kingsguard and I never get to have sex and like never get to have land, why the fuck not send me?
Why not? I know, dude. Seriously, it's like
if I couldn't have sex or like just that, if I couldn't have sex again, just fucking kill me.
But his dying was. His dying was brutal, dude.
Slow and agonizing and painful.
It's better than not having sex for the next 50 years of your life.
Okay. That's a good point. That's actually a good point. I'm not going to argue with that. The Desi Thinker for 20, to Muller's point, they would never make Rhaenyra look bad. They are abandoning the character flaws of Rhaenyra from season 1 and book. She is the show's Daenerys. Twitter weirdos love her, so the show won't make her bad. Twitter weirdos, don't name your kids if you have any, which you probably won't after Rhaenyra.
Yeah, don't do that.
She's still making some really dumb choices.
Yeah. I was gonna say I'm with Shad on the whole. Like the problem I think is that the show is like, isn't it so mean that she can't do the things she needs to do because people are stopping her / she's got things to overcome. And it's like, well, she could have overcome them. And she doesn't seem to recognize at all that it's to do with her. The show is definitely protective of her somewhat. I don't know if you guys get the impression, but they've made it so that the blacks are the good guys, or at least Rhaenyra is the good guy.
Yeah, but also like the idea she had literally fucking went up in flames in the first 10 minutes of the fucking episode, and she lost like a really important person to her. So I think that there is. I do wish they portrayed her a little differently, but I also think there's a little bit of an overreaction from some people.
I mean, like her whining a lot is not supposed to look good. Like she doesn't look good at all. And Mahler pointed out when they were having that kiss at the end, or was it you, Shad? I'm sorry. What? Or was it? No, you weren't there. It was you or Fringy.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Fucking Australians sound the same to me. Okay. It was the music that was playing while they were kissing. Wasn't like la. It was.
Yeah, it was a little bit like.
It was dark like, and ominous. Yeah. So
we'll see. I still think that like season 1, they made it pretty obvious that Rhaenyra's indulgence basically led to all of this.
Yes.
And I feel like. Maybe it's a reality that people forget once enough time has passed, but like it should probably be brought up as like, man, you kind of fucked us really early on,
Yeah. Like her desire to go out and fuck anybody she wanted, to have anything she wanted at any given time, resulted in secession problems, in members of like Kirklo's family getting killed because she did this, her father looking the other way, covering everything up. It literally led to this war that's happening right now because honestly, this doesn't happen. This entire thing doesn't happen if Rhaenyra actually has kids with Laenor and Alicent doesn't feel the way she does about those kids.
Or if she isn't such a fucking pain in the ass when she's supposed to get married off, Like find somebody. And then they hooked it up with Laenor, and it's just didn't work out. He couldn't rise to the occasion. Oh well. But she's responsible for the death of her kid. She is. All this lays on her. Alicent's, like, the two ladies who are considered the power figures in here, they did in their own way help this civil war go on through, and you can blame competence or whatever,
explicit. But Alicent failed miserably. Like, she did a really bad job.
She's facing consequences now. Like,
yes, and like we may have been complaining that she wasn't a little early on, and now it's very clear the show's telling you that holy fuck, she really fucked up.
Yep.
I don't know if I have the same faith they're going to do that in as powerful ways or in as definitive a way as we've seen with Alicent with Rhaenyra. But I knowing how this series ends, I definitely wouldn't rule it out.
I think since we haven't seen him for so long.
Both sides are genocidal, crazy war criminals. So I think we should all enjoy seeing how they die.
Free Otto, bring him back. We've gone for 4 episodes, goddammit. This is insane.
Josh Kelsey, thank you for the $10. I appreciate it.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. How do I Akid for 10?
Okay,
Australian.
I don't know. That's what.
Okay, I don't know.
It's actually Jared Leto.
And it's Jared Leto. Is that supposed to be okay? I don't know.
Go with that. Yeah, go with that. That's
sure.
Sure.
Mahler's younger than me, so I'm gonna just believe him. That's always a good philosophy, right? Did you? I believe everything on Twitter too. By the way, did you notice the man get his arm chopped off in the riot scene? Yes, we did. And it was kind of.
It was good.
It was good.
Swords can do that. Yep.
Thanks for all the fish. I am listening to Hitchhiker, the radio show right now. It's fantastic. Thanks for all the fish for $10. The scene of Aemond and Aegon calls back to Daemon and Viserys in the way that felt intentional and logical. Water in the desert with current state of TV story writing. Hail the fellas rule. Cheers.
It'd be great it'd be great if this was just the standard of writing in media. Not even.
Oh, imagine this was the skill floor. That'd be nice.
Yeah, wouldn't that be great?
Okay. Grendel Vivat for $10. We lost much at Rook's Rest, as you know, matched only by I have only ever defended you. I've only ever defended you. Sam Wallace Art for $10. Misaria would work better if she stayed in a cell, but bit by bit surprised Rhaenyra with good counsel, and then at the end, before final mission, Rhaenyra releases her, surprisingly leaving Misaria as one of the few unscathed.
Yeah, that's my only like real criticism of is I think they fast played the trust factor with them. I think that if it had been that type of situation for maybe like 2 more episodes, I would buy it a little bit more. But I don't know.
Dawnbreaker for $20. We talked about Elder Scrolls Dragon last episode. The people didn't explain everything. In Elder Scrolls, the dragons have their own language and culture. They're basically a different race instead of just beasts. Yeah, we talked about like they thought like humans, and we're like, oh well, they're much more dangerous then. Much more dangerous. Even if they're smaller, because they can rally, they can form armies, strategize.
Backstab, poison.
Poison. Lesbian kiss for no reason at the end of the episode. Dawnbreaker for 10. They're also immortal. The only thing that can permanently kill them is a dragonborn, so you can damage them. But if you're not a dragonborn, you're not putting them down. That's a little OP. That's a little OP.
Would that like track would the dragons of Hot D count and be damaging to them if they were to fight? I don't know.
Yeah.
They're dragonborn, right? Because they're dragons.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I've killed dragons in Elder Scrolls by just shooting them with enough arrows.
Well, la-dee-da.
La-dee-da. Show off. Gatekeeper for 20. Wish you all continued success and good health. Hey, Gary, love you, man. Love you back. Gatekeeper. Chali Sama for $20. Game of Thrones went bad writing when most of the interesting male characters died. The authors are okay with guys being flawed and even being evil. They protect their female characters, though. I'm scared the same thing might happen to this show. There is some.
I kind of disagree with the sentiment of like that's why Game of Thrones went bad. We did have some interesting male characters die, but the biggest problem was that the interesting characters we had left, both male and female, all started acting retarded.
Yeah, we had we had Jaime, Tyrion, Jon,
Varys, Littlefinger,
all kinds of great characters left. Yeah,
exactly, but they all like acted retarded. So I kind of pushed back against that's why it was bad.
Also, Alicent has been skewered by this show. This show has totally taken her to task and said she's not only a horrible mother, but likely the cause of everything going to shit. So the idea that they're protecting her doesn't really make sense to me either.
Yeah, in the books, it might feel like that, but you got to think about where Sansa, Arya are in the books in particular. Because you would think, man, these girls would probably just get raped all the fucking time. And there is times where that almost happens. But Arya's in Bravos right now. Sansa's with Littlefinger. She's protected because a bunch of people know who she is already. But yeah, the guys get maimed the most. But I don't know. I just think like Theon's, it'll never finish, but Theon's arc is fucking amazing. It's brilliant. Like how he's coming back and wins a winner. His chapters are some of the best chapters. He is fucked up. He is beyond fucked up. But he witnesses, because he's fucked up, he witnesses so much shit that he's a really valuable person to have around, and he's with Stannis at the end. I wish someday we'd see the resolution to that. Like he knows all the ins and outs of the Dreadfort, Winterfell, be kind of important information for the North who remembers. There I go again, wishing for that book to come out. Crockest podcast for 20. Sorry about that. I'm retarded. Just want right before Seasmoke torches Darkland for Seasmoke to go full Joe Biden. You ain't black. He is now. He's charged.
He seems to have that preference. He got blackened quite a bit.
Yes.
Imagine he had said, like, it's a win-win for me. Either way, I get a dragon or I die. I don't have to do this shit anymore.
I get a meal. Yep. Maybe he was thinking that probably right up until he was burning to death. One of the most horrible deaths you could possibly imagine. Kevu for $10. Hey, everyone. Hope you're all doing well. Gary, do you like the band Agent Orange? Props to you talking about JFA. Never expected that on this show about House of the Dragon. Take care, you guys. Yes. Loved Agent Orange when I was a kid. I did. I've seen them a couple times. Back in my punk rock days. JFA is Jodie Foster's army, by the way, from Phoenix, Arizona. Not around anymore. Milky Way for 50 Martian pesos. Sarah Hess is all about Rhaenyra, Alicent gay ship. Look for leaks. Yeah, she's the producer, by the way. Writers deviates from lore, canon, and source material. George R. R. Martin doesn't praise it either. Rhaenyra lacking flaws. Oh, Rhaenyra's lacking flaws. Alicent too. I think Alicent's got
Alicent lacking flaws. Some of you guys are like fucking wild for this shit. I'm just being real. Like it's insane. Like if you just watch this episode and you're saying that Alicent doesn't have any flaws, I watch.
They have squarely made her responsible for the state of Aemond and Aegon, who are now responsible for much of the pain and misery of the entire kingdom.
In this episode, she took responsibility.
Yeah. So. There are definitely criticisms of Rhaenyra and Lady Misery, but like you guys trying to like paint this entire thing with a broad brush is just so funny to me. And George has had his criticisms, but I feel like you're also overlooking the overwhelming amount of praise that he has heaped on this show repeatedly, especially with the portrayals for some of the actors and some of the changes they did make that brought his characters to life in a way that he admitted was better than he did in the book.
Viserys. Go, Gary.
Yeah. No, I was good. Here, I'll just put. lesbians. No, the source material sucks, guys. Like, I don't like the book. I've read it twice. That's the least I've ever read any George R. R. Martin fantasy, A Song of Ice and Fire book. And you know, I'll listen to bits and pieces while I'm driving around for this show, but I fucking hate it. I fucking hate the unreliable narrator. I hate that it's just he blows past like really important stuff, and like fucking the whole King Jaehaerys thing takes forever. Takes fucking forever in the book to get the question of succession, and a lot of it's repeated shit, and it's an unreliable narrator. So this is still a better version of that story. What would I rather have? Wins a fucking winner. That's what I'd rather have. But like, this is, as Ryan has said, and he's right, like all we have left is TV. That's all we're gonna have left.
Yeah.
Sorry, Shad, go ahead.
Oh, I was just saying, you know, they've shown Alicent doing awful things, and the show basically calls her out that her mistake of what Viserys said on his deathbed. The show is basically saying that's all on her. You screwed up massively. And so the show is portraying their flaws and mistakes pretty clear. And then there are ones that might not be clear, but if you just have a look at it in context, Rhaenyra has made so many bad choices.
Yeah, and I think, you know, at the end of season 4, because it's only 4 seasons, we'll know how many good decisions and bad decisions she made. That's all I can say without. There's a lot of people out there who've read the books, know what I'm talking about, and we'll see if things go down the way it went down in the book. We do know there's a bunch of Northmen on their way down. And I'm guessing
graybeards.
A bunch of graybeards. They mentioned them twice now, so obviously they'll be popping up in the next couple of episodes.
Army of Santa Clauses.
Yeah.
We are having this. Like now, we've got this deal for them to potentially cross the twins. We've got this
Lannister army.
We've got the Lannister army. We've got Criston Cole. We've got Daemon figuring things out in the Riverlands. There's about to be some massive shit brewing.
And Darren, who has a dragon.
Daeron.
And he's was talked about, and he's the one good son who's, like we talked about earlier, who's kind, because he wasn't raised by Alicent Hightower, and they made a whole point of like, yep.
I can't wait for Daeron. I'm excited for that, and it's going to be another dragon that's like very unique looking.
Yep.
Cool.
Tessarion.
I can't wait for
It's
that.
a good name too.
It's a great. The dragon names fucking kick ass, dude.
It's so cool because you have like such awesome sounding shit, and then you just got Seasmoke. I was like, you know,
Sheep Stealer. Well, I mean,
I was going to say some of them kind of suck. Some of them are great though.
It balances.
Well, I don't mind the name Seasmoke. I'm just saying when you like compare it with Vermithor and fucking Tessarion and like Cyrax. And like just these names that do sound Valerian, that do Valerian, but these names that do sound like foreign and like whimsical in a way. It's really fucking cool. And then you mix that Silverwing, Moon, like some of them sound like fucking Native American names, basically. Half of them sound like Indian names, like to me at least. And the other half sound like actual.
It's kind of dull. Some of them, you're like, okay.
Oh yeah. Some of the wordcraft that George is able to do in just name terminology are brilliant. Like Baratheon, Lannister, Targaryen. They're just awesome sounding names. Gosh.
So a good history book that he did was The World of Ice and Fire. That one kicks ass. That's fucking great. I love that book because it goes to each continent and each, you know, I love that one. Fire and Blood. It's like more Targaryen shit.
I can't wait for Fire and Blood too.
Well, I mean, shit. After that, we get. Oh, well, we're not supposed to get the results. How is he going to do Summerhall in that one? Is there going to be ink falling on the page? So they get to Summerhall. It's this event, and he hasn't revealed what happened. So in World of Ice and Fire, it's like, we got some information on Summerhall, but unfortunately, a maester dropped some ink on the page.
Yeah, it like in World of Ice and Fire, which is basically like this source book and shit. Like Summerhall has been this very mysterious event that like there's very important things that happen at Summerhall, including what happens with Duncan Egg.
That's what I was asking.
Yeah, the birth of Rhaegar Targaryen, like all these very important events occur around Summerhall, and there's been questions about it forever. But yeah, Maester spilled ink on that page, and we don't really know the answers.
Wow, what a fucking loser! He ruined
What
everything.
a loser. So
maybe it was a conspiracy.
So we have I mean, so technically House of the we're getting an ending to this story, but technically Fire and Blood is an unfinished book series. The Night of the Seven Kingdoms unfinished book series. So I mean, enjoy the ending of House of the Dragon. It's the only one you're gonna fucking get. Dawnbreaker for $20. The only way to kill dragons is to absorb their souls, and the only one who could do that are dragonborn. So you can kill a dragon, but it will eventually come back. That's why they die in Skyrim, because they play the last dragonborn. Okay,
Makes
there you
sense.
go. All right, guys, we're gonna get out of here. I'll get the rest of those on the finale. I apologize, but I have to go to San Diego tomorrow. Drive.
Yeah, we're on it. We
storm.
went over our time limit anyway because we kept talking about gay kisses.
Yeah.
Shad wouldn't shut up about it.
Yeah.
I'm obsessed. What can I say?
Yeah. Ryan, what do you got coming up?
Nothing.
Okay.
Hopefully.
I see some pizza.
Yeah.
Is there pizza left? Why is it on the floor? Why is it on the
floor
table?
pizza?
I'm disappointed in
There's
you.
a table right here. I didn't need to put it on the floor.
Okay. All right. Well, all right. Well, safe travels, Ryan. Safe
Thank you.
travels.
Yeah.
Shad, what do you got coming up?
Same old stuff. I'm feeling sick, so I want to do a review for Night's Watch on this episode. I'm not sure I'm going to get to it. We'll see. But yeah, same old stuff. Shadiversity,
All right.
Night's Watch, Swords.
Cool beans. Mahler.
Well, we just got done with a 6-hour adventure into the life of Boogie 2988 with a full cast of characters. I mean, the people who were there to laugh at it and be shocked. Several people didn't know, like, a lot of what he had done. And to be honest with you, I don't think most people know. Like, the video I constructed is of a bunch of shit from all over the place, all over his history. And there's lots of highs and lows and lots of shocking revelations. And we're doing the part 2 for that this Saturday.
One for
Then you
me
also
and one
got-
for my hooker. One for me and one for my hooker.
That one's a classic.
Oh wow! The super chat there, because Brigandine is friggin' awesome. That's why I wanted to point it out, but I thought that'd be too much of a my own obsession thing that no one else would care about. But yeah, Gwayne wearing Brigandine, love that detail. And why? Because it's a bit more flexible. It's still very protective and it looks friggin' great. That's why.
There
I
you
love
go.
Brigandine.
Was he wearing full plate before they went into battle?
I know. I think they're still wearing the so Brigandine is a type of full plate. It's just
Okay.
got smaller segmentations underneath the cloth to give you a bit more flexibility, and it looks awesome. I love
There you go.
Brigandines.
I was gonna say they got Deadpool and Wolverine's out next week, right?
Yeah, I'll be
Yes.
reviewing that. That's what I got
That's
coming up
this week.
I'm gonna catch up with Raging Rhino, and we'll be dropping a review on Night's Watch. So that'll be great.
We need to rewatch
Yes.
the 2 Deadpools and possibly
I
Logan
should do that
because
too.
I watched Deadpool last night.
oh sweet. Well, yeah, got that
Still really good.
on the way too. Talking about that at some point. I don't know when EFAP's going to do coverage of that exactly. Everything's all over the place. Too many things to do. It's horrifying in the best of ways.
It's a good problem to have. I am off to San Diego Comic-Con. There will be no Nooner on Rumble tomorrow. I will be on the Real BBC. There will be a Acolyte supercut of all of my reviews. Little beginning, little end. Completely ripped off this idea from the Y-Files who do compilations. I'm like, hey, I'm going to do. It's a good idea. So I'm going to do a supercut of that. Rings of Power in a couple weeks. And then my next video will not be fucking Star Wars. It'll be Deadpool and Wolverine review. So I'm excited about seeing that in San Diego with Chris Gore and Alan Ng and a bunch of other people. And it'll be fun. So look for stuff from the road, stuff from Comic-Con. If I see you down there, that'll be cool. I got a signing Saturday at noon at Big Man Comics. And then there's the meetup on Wednesday. Or if you're just around, come up and say hi. Please come up and say hi. Even if I'm looking at comics, it's cool. It's totally cool. So I can't wait to hit the road. This will probably be the second to last San Diego Comic-Con. So looking to enjoy it. Looks like it's going to be gone after 2025, which is fucking crazy to think about, but that's the way it is. And we'll see you next week. I'll be in San Diego for the penultimate episode.
Yeah.
Damn it. The penultimate episode of House of the Dragon. So thanks to the Nerdrotics. Thanks to everyone who left super chat donation. You help keep the lights on. Thanks to all the lurkers. We'll see you next week. Ciao, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.